Bum 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 ba-dum, ba-da-ba-ba-bum-bum. Ba-da-ba-da-bum-bum-bum-ba-da. And I'm running out of water. Alrighty then. Let me, as always. Bum 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 ba-da-ba-bum bum bum ba-dum. Where are you? Alright, finished most of my setup and stuff. Alright, good. Either way. Oh yeah, I have to do this one too. Hold on a little bit. What's he do? What's Scooby Doo? Hi, Danu. Welcome to the Gator Valkyrie stream. My name is Gator Valkyrie, and I'm your host and your voice. The voice here is to entertain you, and may or may not have no idea what I'm doing. And look at the person right behind me. That dude over there is actually just my voice actor. So you don't really have to mind him. He basically just, translating my 2D language to 3D language. Yeah. Hold on a little bit. Oh yeah, actually, that is just how like the Shaggy voice actually exists after the original voice actor like not working on Shaggy voice anymore. So the basically how he managed to like originally like do the movie. Yes, the movie, not actually originally like he was like cast as the continuation of the new Scooby Doo like new the animation and stuff. Um, he was cast in a movie first, and he have the height for it. He have like the body shape for it. So and he's also actor obviously. And then he was cast for being a Shaggy, but he doesn't really sound like him. So he loved the character Shaggy so much since like his childhood like cartoon too. So like he tried his best to prove that he can do more than that. So he go into his car, scream like hell, lost his voice, and have like a very sound voice like this one. Obviously, I don't really have a Shaggy voice. I mean, like it's like so to the point that his voice become very coarse like that one, and then he go into the movie set and then sound almost identical to Shaggy. And around that moment, it was every cast member were like, what the heck happened?" Because like he is still screaming in his car. Everyone heard him. Hide up. Yeah. Well, how is the day for you? Guess. Well, personally, I can't really say I'm doing fine, to be honest. Because, like, if the things I'm applying go through, I might not be able to stream anymore. Might. Because I need to get a job. This thing is not earning enough. And if anyone already know that my medical condition stuff, me doing a job is going to be very difficult. And I don't think I will have the residual energy to do streaming if I go to get a job. And the job currently I'm applying is a retail advisor, basically just not retail advisor, sales advisor, basically just doing retail. Might have energy for it, but also same time I might not. Depends on what kind of shift that I'm in. If I'm doing double shift, it's like from morning to night. I already see the store that I applied for is like the store that I applied for is like what again? Oh, by the way, thank you very much. Um, yeah, the store I applied for, like they open the store from like 10 to 10 a.m. to like 9 p.m. So if it's not shift, means like I have to go to work at like 8, do the sorting and stuff, this and that, prep for the store, and then open up. And then I have to stay there until like 9. I'm not going to be like having like enough time to do anything. Even I manage to survive, I don't think I have enough like energy for it. So I changed my donation instead of just saying that, you know, I need like monthly medical fee to I need to like this amount is what I earn if I actually got that job. And yeah, this is like what I would earn if I got the job. So if I manage to earn enough to a point on live streaming, just on live streaming, then I might be still able to stream. But if not, going to earn this like amount, I don't think so. Well, if you watch Hololive, this character is called Shiori novella. One of the character from not character, one of the VTuber from Hololive. And I already finished drawing Fuamoko one. So all I have to do right now is finish the Shiori, and after I finish Shiori, I need to do. Should I go for Narissa or like Bijo or Bibu? I think I'm just going for maybe I'm going for Bibu, the next one. Narissa one, I already like go for like a very dark overall characters. Let's go for Narissa. Let's go for Bijo, a little bit brighter characters. Well, if you want, you can try. But also, sorry, I cannot draw like free art for you because like it already has been past the point that no free stuff for people anymore because like here's the thing, being free and being like drawing free art and being kind to people is a luxury, and the act of kindness is literally a privilege. If you have the money, obviously you can give people shit for free, but I don't have any money anymore, so to the point that I have to like quit streaming, just working. It's a little bit sad, but still, yeah. But again, if I'm actually like start earning back money from just streaming, it's possible it would work, but that is more or less like a wishful thinking, to be honest. I am trying my best. If you guys do notice, I've been posting a lot of clips, a lot of the content stuff, this and that, this stuff, and doing collab as much as I can, but it seems like I didn't manage to get like a too high of a bump in like view. So yeah. And even I got a bump of view doesn't mean like I got a bump in my paycheck. You know what? Here's the thing. Let me show you guys the thing. Okay, right now I have 436 subscribers. So I've been having a lot lately. So you can see in here. I got 21 increase within this 28 days. So if I go to earn, my channel will be start able to like earn some money when I hit 500 subscribers. But not just 500 subscribers. I need view time of 3,000 hours within a year. Watch hours. So if I manage to hit this, I would have at least got the super chat like monetizations, and I can create merchandise and then put it in the shopping cart. And also membership stuff. I won't get any AdSense. If I really need to like get AdSense, I need like thousands, like literally like thousands of like subscribers, and then 4,000 of like watch hour, those kind of things. So I have to really push a lot of content to actually manage to get that. It's not something that it sounds simple, but it's not too simple.
Become ludicrously intelligent. It's awful. Oh, I long for the blissful ignorance of my former self.
He drinks a potion in the lab in like where the villain is stationed.
And it makes him super rich, yeah?
And it also makes him, he has the body of a woman for a time as well.
Well, that led to a bunch of memes online about the idea of Ultra Instinct.
You don't have to find a real live stream. You're too young to do one in the first place. There will be a lot of weird people. Like the moment you use your voice, people will know.
Shaggy, and are you familiar with the music?
So best not to do it at the moment. Maybe until you're like 16. Yeah. By the time when you're 16, you just cringe. You're not you don't sound young. That would be okay. But I still don't think, like, if you just want to use stream as a hobby, it's fine. But don't try to use stream as a career, to be honest. You're looking at a guy who takes streaming as a career, and then this is a very poor choice of his life. Technically, I didn't even see my streaming as a career in the first place. I just want to do stream, but I can't get a job, so I try to select it as a career, but it's just never worked. But and anyone that want to try stream for fun, another advice is you're going to get depressed sometimes. Imagine you stream for like a month or 2, 3, 4, 5 entire year. You only have that one person you interact with only, and sometimes even they disappeared, and you always have 0 view. That is practically most of the live streamer life. You can go to Twitch and then like you can see like so many people having like 1 view. That 1 view aren't even their view. That 1 view is actually them watching themselves. So you can't expect like have any viewer, to be honest. There is no chance that nowadays that people can like get view easily. If you don't put an extra effort into it, you can't actually get a single view. Even I put quite a lot of effort into it. You can see like all the things I do, my overlay, my stuff. I post video, I post clip, I do like Twitter stuff. I still don't get any view. You can say you are one, just one. That's the thing. A lot of people aiming for like the fame and maybe like the honor or like any other things that think about like in that brain, like which sounds logical. It's not exactly logical. Okay? It's a grind. So you don't really have to rush yourself, do it as fast as possible. Right now, the economic of trying to be a streamer is way too much. Way too many people want to stream, to the point that the chance that you can get even 1 view is hard. It's just not something that you can get easily. Even you manage to like have the skill to earn a viewer, still doesn't mean that you will have too great of a time. A lot of people will say just fun. I did stream 9 years to say just fun. And I didn't get a job because also at the same time, my medical issues, I decided to take this as a job. But at the end, it still didn't work. So better have a little bit of more of your own time to get yourself have the capability of being independent first before you try to become a streamer. That's my best advice for you. Have the ability to earn money for yourself, then you can have a hobby. Streaming, if you wanted to become a hobby, is a very expensive hobby. Especially if you want to become a Vtuber, it's even more expensive hobby. Similar with like voice acting, like here's the thing. I told you guys that I want to become voice actors. But in reality, it's really hard to get a job as a voice actor. You will need to spend more money than earn the money that you spend for almost like 60% or like more than like 70% of voice actor right now working. This mic, it's not cheap. My entire like soundproofing and everything is not cheap. My audio stuff is not cheap. All those things, you would be like, you will spend like a year trying to become a voice actor. You would spend $2,000 and then not a single earning. Is everything like that is very expected. You don't have any control. All you can do is just keep sending auditions, see anyone like your voice. If they like your voice, yeah, you can get a job, but not essentially enough to cover the expense you have. Because the more time you sit there unable to find a job, the more money you wasted. Why? Computer require electricity to run. You need to pay for electricity. Air conditioning, if you really want a nice like environment, and then yeah, you do that. You need light. You need light means more electricity bill. You need to eat. You need this, you need that. Like, you need lots of things that require for yourself to paying stuff. So just being a streamer as a hobby is an expensive hobby. Just like trying to become a those kind of like like Warhammer figurine painters. Everything required money. And streaming required more money. VTubing require even more money. So everything have like a net negative of like money there. So like I say again, unless you are like 16, you know how to do some part-time jobs or things like that. I don't think 16 can do part-time jobs. Depends on the country. You know how to earn a buck for yourself, that enough to the point that you can sustain yourself while doing this hobby, then go ahead. I will tell you, do anything you want. But if you don't even have enough money to pay your own phone bill, then you might have some issues then. Computers require money. Electricity bill require money. Laptop require money. Phone require money. Phone bill itself, if you need a phone numbers, it still require money. Every single thing requires some money. So in order to have a hobby, first thing is to have a life. Sadly to say that. That is the most harshest truth that I can say. Yeah, I am sad too when I say like, when I have to break the news that I might not be able to stream anymore too. Because streaming is really my hobby. Like, how can a person stream 9 years with no audience? Nobody can do that. Unless you really like to do that. Imagine like you keep fishing in the river. You just never caught a single fish. Why are you still fishing? Some people want to fish to eat. You just fish for hobby, so you're fine with it. You buy all those expensive like fishing rod, watch YouTube to learn those like how to tie a fishing lure, those kind of things. You, instead of go and buy some worm, you go like expensive trip, climb up the mountain. You have to buy mountain gear up to the mountain areas, dig up some worm, get some bucket. All those too need money. And who the heck would spend so much money to do some things to get zero fish? Nobody's. Only rich people does it. So, in a way, like I say again, you need money for lots of things. First, you need to know how to support yourself. Then you can stream without any issues. If you have money, you can pay people to do some stuff for you. You have money, pay people to do some clip for you. You have money, you can draw some. You can either draw something yourself or like have some times that you can spend to like pay some other people to draw for you. Especially in this economy, is making things like even worse, to be honest. I understand this ever since I became an adult. So I'm just letting you know a little bit earlier. This is something that once you reach like 18 or like you start doing part-time at 17 or like something around the range like that, you understand. So this is why I say like don't start too early, not because you are a kid. It's because that it's hard for you to see some of the pictures that you aren't going to see. And most likely case, you might accidentally ruin your life without knowing. So it's best not to be so hasty. Just have fun watching other people. Not me. I'm not that entertaining.
Shaggy?
Yeah.
That sounds. It's like I recognise it. I know if I saw it, but off the top of my head, just like.
You don't know about Ultra Instinct Shaggy?
I recognise the name, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
So I can give you the Cliff Notes version. It didn't start with Ultra Instinct Shaggy. It started with a bunch of fake screenshots of interviews behind the scenes. And people would just put random shit over them, talking about Shaggy being this like godlike being. Like you'd have like Matthew Lillard like behind the scenes, and they'd put like fake captions on it saying, yeah, for some scenes I would just tap into the power of Shaggy and I'd black out. And I'd wake up and the set would be on fire. Yeah. And there's loads of these, and they make me laugh every single time. Some of them are so fucking funny. Like the one of like Freddie Prinze Jr. just being like, yeah, sometimes like Matthew would say he's tapping into the power of Shaggy, and just an extra would explode. And then, you know, it being a meme, it of course like, you know, just got ran into the fucking ground. Well, not before. People kept like, you know, innovating and embellishing upon it. And I think my favourite one is just, so Shaggy. Like, what amount of power are you using right now? About 95%? Huh, that doesn't sound like a lot. Who said 100% is my limit? It's so good. And this led to a bunch of like, you know, people online, like, in a mocking
thank you,
way,
Doug.
tracking down feats of like superhuman prowess attributed to Shaggy, such as him, like, you know, getting super buff. In that one thing, like, you know, the skateboarding scene, where people are like, Shaggy's supposed to be an ordinary human, and yet here he is, blindfolded with a barrel on top of him, carrying a Great Dane, dodging missiles, and then there's a bunch of examples from like the cartoons where, oh yeah, Shaggy has got like a 35-foot vertical jump. I think it was like one of the animated movies where they remove Shaggy's like cowardice.
I remember this.
And then he like starts doing like backflips and shit, and it's like in the story that Shaggy hasn't got any superpowers, he's just not scared anymore, and he's amazing.
Power of Shaggy.
I like the idea that, like, to build on the meme, that Shaggy is this powerful, but his cowardice is his limiter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he does, you know, he takes the Rock Lee weights off, and suddenly he's, you know, the Shaggy.
He becomes Shin Shaggy, yeah, true Shaggy, and that eventually became Ultra Instinct Shaggy. When people took this meme, it's like, could Shaggy beat Goku? And it's like, well, it depends. How powerful does Shaggy want to be? How much of Shaggy's power is released?
So there's a video that I'm planning for the side channel at some point, which is about the most powerful characters in fiction of all time. Because I get really curious about this, and when I looked up lists, everybody was like, oh, Superman, Goku. And someone said Yoda and Dumbledore, but I wanted characters that were comically overpowered to the point where they're unrealistically powerful. And one of them that I'm going to talk about is Shaggy, because the joke is that he's infinitely powerful and gets more and more powerful.
Because, you know, that's the joke, but it is actually kind of canon, and there is like story-based reasons for it, as I'm about to discuss. So, you know, just discounting all that silly things, let's just, you know, break down Shaggy's most basic feat, his ability to run. Yeah, you know, in every episode, Shaggy runs away, and he runs away alongside Scooby. And people might not know this. Like, do you know what breed of dog Scooby-Doo is?
Great Dane.
He's a Great Dane, yes. Like, people probably wondering, wait, he's a Great Dane? Yeah, the joke here is that Scooby-Doo is a Great Dane, but they deliberately drew him to have the exact opposite of every desirable trait for a Great Dane. So Great Dane's supposed to be, like, very proud, tall dogs, like, you know, with a straight back and all that, and the proud, noble profile. Scooby-Doo is the exact opposite. He's basically a fucking question mark. But do you know, like, off the top of your head, what the sprinting speed of a Great Dane is?
Fast.
33 miles an hour.
That's almost correct, yeah. It's about 30 miles an hour. A bit faster with, you know, an exceptional example of the breed, which Scooby-Doo isn't, so let's just say 30 miles an hour. Shaggy can sprint as fast as Scooby-Doo can, consistently, and usually outrun him, or while carrying him. And Great Danes weigh about 50 kilos.
Strength.
So even like,
speed.
yeah, even like, you know, just discounting all the silly things like fans have done, Shaggy can canonically run about 30 miles an hour. And the show has explained that he's able to do that because there's multiple episodes where Shaggy talks about like his past, where he was. Do you know this, Brad?
Oh God, is he going to be like an Olympic sprinter or something?
He wasn't an Olympic sprinter. He ran track in high school.
And who's the bait for this trap? The fastest runner, that's who. Scooby-Doo. Hold it! You forgot, I'm a track man. I can really run and fast.
Right, Buster.
Why don't you both go and split the sandwich?
Right here.
Okay by me.
And was a very prodigious and promising gymnast in his youth.
That's it. No more Jack.
He still can't reach it. Don't worry. Shaggy's the swingingest gymnast in school.
When you get in, open the back door. Right. Watch me swing right in.
And there is like a great featurette they did for Cartoon Network, which was ostensibly behind the scenes with the Scooby-Doo cast, where they're talking about Shaggy, and they say, yeah, Shaggy, you're really known for like your ability to run real fast. And he goes, yeah, because I used to run track in high school, and you know, I was a gymnast. And then Fred cuts him off and says, no, it's actually because he's vegetarian.
Some people may think Shag's skinny because Scooby's always stealing his food. That's not it. It's because he's a vegetarian.
So he's got the same powers as Todd the vegan.
Basically, yeah.
Short answer, being vegan just makes you better than most people.
He also, as well, the show makes a joke of, yeah, I used to be really addicted to food, but then I got a new addiction, collecting belt buckles. And so you can never, I've got over 300 belt buckles, I wear a new one in every episode. You can't tell because my shirt always covers it. And I fucking love that.
At one point, I calculated that he had eaten exactly 45% of his body weight.
Zoinks! I had to quit.
Instead, Shaggy turned to a new hobby.
I have the largest collection of decorator belt buckles in the world. 653 at last count. I'm wearing my favorite one right now. Like it's hard to catch, but I wear a different buckle for every mystery. You just gotta pay attention.
even just thinking more into it, like, think of the number of sandwiches or the big things he puts in his mouth without any effort.
He's basically a Saiyan, that's the joke, yeah.
Yeah, because they eat a lot, don't they? So it's endless, bottomless pit.
He has a bottomless appetite. He can run at 30 miles an hour forever, carrying a 50-kilo Great Dane. He's got like a 30-foot vertical jump, and it's all because he's a vegetarian.
Yeah, these videos always make me laugh because you start off with saying stuff like, oh, he's got these powers. I'm like, how are you going to explain this one? But then the more you talk about it, you're like, oh my god, yes, I can see it.
And the show explains it. And it's like, it's all canon. Not the Ultra... And the thing is, even the Ultra Instinct thing is technically canon. Did you know the game Multiverses?
That's his power, isn't it?
He's in Multiverses, and when he fights Superman, he'll say, boy, you made me use 5% of my power to Superman.
Had me sweating back there, Shaggy.
I'll warn you. I'm feeling like pretty powerful, dude.
And they also have the bit where he just fucking kicks the shit out of Scorpion.
people always get really pissy when you say that anybody can beat Goku. For some reason, Goku fans, as particularly on the internet...
No, anime fans. That's all it is.
Yeah,
It's not like Goku fans, just anime fans don't have a life.
So I'm just going to say right now to everybody in the audience, Shaggy could beat Goku easily.
Well, it depends. How much of his power level is he using?
Well, probably not 0.1%. I imagine that's enough to obliterate Goku.
Yeah, and I love stuff like this, especially when it's done with your tongue in your cheek. Because there's a great bit with like Beerus. Like there's people try and power scale characters. Like there's a bit in one of the Dragon Ball episodes where Yamcha pats Beerus on the back, and he reacts, and it's like, well, Goku in Super Saiyan 3 couldn't touch Beerus, but Yamcha casual slaps Beerus and moves him. That means Yamcha's stronger than Beerus.
How Bulma slaps like Goku and stuff, and Goku's like, ow. Like, how can Bulma, like, a human, hurt Goku by a slap? Yeah. How powerful is Bulma? Maybe she's like...
Well, I think Beerus says that in his big fight with Goku, he only uses like 10% of his full strength. Yeah. So if...
And that's people power scale that for Yamcha, like the slap of how far he moves and stuff like that. Yeah, Yamcha, that training really fucking paid off. But let's have a look at the recording time here. So we've got 16 minutes in. So I guess we kind of have to talk about...
We don't have to.
The elephant. Well, that's the thing, because people in the comments are going to be yelling about it. So I think we should clarify, we're aware of the Velma show. Have you watched an episode of it, Brad?
No, I avoided watching it because of obviously I heard the stuff, but I've seen a lot of clips. I've watched reviews from people who aren't the dickheads, like
who aren't racist.
Basically, yeah. I've watched reviews from people who actually I've watched their other content, and they'll come into it completely from a Scooby-Doo fan perspective.
Yes, not weird racist man baby on the internet.
I've never seen the internet unite over something. I think the show somehow managed to design itself to be hated by everyone.
I think it's because it took such a beloved property that's so innocent.
Yeah.
Like everybody remembers, like Scooby-Doo has been on the air for like on and off for about 50 years now. It's just, and it's like a warm blanket. And it just feels so cynical to make all the characters in it like swear and be angsty. And like, I've watched a few episodes of the show, and it literally feels like any one of those generic American Dad Family Guy knockoffs.
Yeah, like Big Mouth or
F for Family, like Solar Opposites, like any one of those shows, and they put the Scooby-Doo label on it. It doesn't, and that's the thing, it doesn't feel like a Scooby-Doo show.
Hey, Fred.
Do I know you?
It's Velma from school. You cheat off me in Spanish because you think I'm Mexican.
Maybe. I have a disease where I can't recognize people who aren't hot. My doctor says it's basically sickle cell for rich guys.
Is it called rudeness?
It is.
In the original series, like virtually every interpretation of Fred, he's basically a Labrador, isn't he? That's the way he's described. He's a himbo.
Yeah. He's super nice. He has a massive his whole character is about how good he is to his friends and the connection between them all. He's the leader. He's the one who leads the group. He respects all of them and their individual qualities and uses them as like an asset for his team. He's supposed to be this big lovable. He's not even that stupid either. Like he's meant to be. Because like some of the iterations have him as the one, like he makes the plans, and as we've talked before in Mystery Incorporated, he's the one who comes up with all the devices and things to trap people.
And that's the thing, like in the Velma show, he's like an arsehole. Yeah. So he's like, he doesn't even feel like the same character.
He's a preppy rich kid who doesn't know how to use a knife and fork. Do you not know about all this?
I saw the trailer and I think we discussed it a bit, didn't we? Because it just felt a bit forced, didn't it? Like the jokes and like bringing to attention how it's different, but it's going to piss off people who hate change and stuff like that.
But it's so bizarre because they did the race swapping, which would offend a certain kind of person.
And I don't mind if those people are annoyed about it, because they're awful. But then
they make fun of the tropes of like quote unquote woke shows, which would offend the other side. Yeah. So who are you making your show for?
It's like you're placating the kind of people who'd complain about the show in the first place. So it's kind of for nobody, and it's like I say, it feels like they wrote a show and then slapped the Scooby-Doo label on top of it, because none of the characters feel like that. And to clarify what we mean by this, like you can change characters pretty substantially from their original interpretation. Yeah. Let's use Superman as example. We talked about Superman. Brad, what is the most important thing to Superman's character?
I would say it's his code.
Yes.
Like, what he lives by, his morality.
Yeah, that has a strong moral code instilled upon him from a very young age.
Yeah, because even though he's not human, he's supposed to be the best that humanity could possibly be. So he needs to not be human, but he also needs to be the best that anyone on our planet could possibly hope to strive to be.
And for a long time, like, you know, his character was very America-centric, and they changed that recently. You know, his catchphrase like truth, justice, and the American way.
Yeah, it's truth, justice, and like
a better tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which is more reflective of Superman as a symbol for all of humanity. But like one of the most celebrated interpretations of Superman is Red Son, where Superman, like instead of crash landing in Kansas, lands in Soviet era Russia.
Yeah.
And the character of Superman is still the same. Like he's still, like, you know, unimaginably powerful entity from beyond the stars, who still has a very strong moral code instilled upon him from a very young age. It's just that that moral code is communism.
Do, 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 do.
Such incredible power, Sonishka. You have to give them to the state. The people need you.
But people still read that comic and understand that to be Superman, even though it is dramatically different from every other interpretation. And there are countless other examples of interpretations like that take a character and you know, shift them in some way, but still keep the core of what made the character identifiable. And just that doesn't happen in the show.
It's like just keeping the personalities, the traits that like make them who they are, but you can change like the race, the gender, anything. They can still be that character, but in the Velma, it's like those different people.
The Velma version of Shaggy is completely different.
Yeah, and one of the things we should point out is that even if you keep the personality the same, they don't have to act the same, because even with the same personality traits, in a different situation or a different background or a different lived experience, they can be different. Like Superman, you know, his personality is still the same, but his moral code that he has instilled on it is different, and that gives you a different version of the character. And I never understood when you get those people online complain about this. As someone who's watched a lot of Scooby-Doo, like even between all those different series, there's a dramatically different feel to a lot of them.
Massively. Like Mystery Incorporated is the one that they have a serial story between two seasons. So every single episode, the characters grow and learn, and their relationships change. But if you don't like that, you can just go watch What's New Scooby-Doo, where you know there will be some changes, but for the most part, each episode is different, and you can watch on its own.
Or all the different movies where they interact with like various figures from pop culture, like wrestlers and Kiss.
It's gonna be Batman and Robin.
Maybe Batman, Johnny Bravo, and all that good stuff. So like, even in the mainline shows, there's like dramatic differences between them.
There's even that Supernatural crossover.
Yes,
Scooby Natural is amazing.
And we've talked about all this in the past, so like, just to end on any favourite like Scooby-Doo moments we can put the clicking off. Because I'm definitely putting in my favourite of like the Johnny Bravo crossover. My glasses! I can't be seen. It's
That's
so
amazing.
good.
I love that.
It's like the most top tier crossover moment ever.
My glasses! I can't see without my glasses!
My glasses! I can't be seen without my glasses!
I can't be seen with my glasses.
Jenkins!
Actually, what would happen if I took them?
Everything's dark! I've gone blind!
I'm only gonna say this once. Don't touch the glasses.
I think I'm gonna have to say in the first Scooby-Doo movie, when Shaggy infiltrates the where Sue's been captured to try and get him back, and he goes, "Who's your best pal? Raggy? And who's my best buddy in the whole wide world? Ruby-Doo? That's right, Scoob. We're like two trippy peas in a far-out pod, man." I just love that scene.
Now look, who's your best buddy?
Raggy.
That's right. And who's my best buddy in the whole wide world?
Ruby-Doo.
That's right, Scoob.
Yeah, I think my favourite crossover is got to be Scooby Natural.
If there are ghosts, that means there's an afterlife. Heaven, hell. Am I going to hell?
We told you every freaking time, but did you ever listen to Scoob and me?
We'll put some clips in the Scooby Natural as well then, like, instead of like, yelling at the Velma show, sucking ass, which, the internet's, already done. That's the thing as well. All those people complain about, I'm so sick of them just making the same thing over and over and over again. And then every fucking YouTuber talking about this show just did the same thing. It's like, you're doing the exact same thing, you're criticizing.
Like, everyone's already covered it, we don't need to cover it.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, watch Mystery Incorporated.
And another one? What's with people with doing crime? Live.
This moron essentially kidnapped multiple car salesmen, endangering their lives with 170-mile-an-hour plus fake test drives, where he essentially never intended on buying the car and instead filmed their reactions for attention on social media. And as it seems, what he's been doing is not just dangerous, but it might actually be kidnapping. I mean, it's safe to say when someone goes to a dealership to test drive a car, most of the time the expectation is they're at least interested in buying the car. But not this guy. He's there to just strain the car as much as possible for some TikTok and Instagram likes in the name of content. So this is Amir Saeed. He's become infamous in northern Texas for taking exotic cars on test drives from dealerships and absolutely flooring them, while a helpless car salesman is sitting trapped in the passenger seat. And I'm talking about extreme excessive speeding and burnouts on public roads while filming the poor dude sitting next to him.
Are we looking to make a deal on it today?
Possibly. We'll see.
Say hi, man. Hey, yo. Stop. No, stop the car right now. You over here. Stop over here. Okay. I'm not paying it.
What a low-life scumbag. Like, dude, if you want to do this, get your money up, buy the car, and hit the track, because all this will do will get you thrown in jail. Clearly, this isn't a one-time thing. He's been doing this repeatedly at multiple dealerships to the point where the Texas Automobile Dealers Association had to issue a statewide alert about him last summer, warning members of their sales staff that they were being endangered by this guy. Yeah, an entire state of car dealerships had to warn about this one guy on Instagram and TikTok. Like, come on. That's when you know you have a special kind of problem. According to Matt Ducey, Ducati, Ducat. Is that Ducat or DeSote? According to Matt Ducat, who's a general manager at Moritz Kia and Hertz, is upset, saying there are other people's lives at risk. You can see them doing this out on the streets. It's just an unsafe situation when someone is driving recklessly like that. And I mean, imagine being stuck in a car with someone who suddenly floors it and goes to 170 miles an hour on a public highway while you're just trying to do your job there. Then you have one salesman, Edgar Lopez, explain that this was supposed to be a quick test drive and it turned into a 2.5-hour nightmare. Like, come on, 2.5 hours of that? That's not even a test drive at that point. That's a hostage situation. The salesman also said that he was ignored entirely whenever he told the driver to get off the road or slow down. Isn't that by definition kidnapping? 1 second, I gotta act like my own Wade from Kim Possible here. Okay, so kidnapping or abduction is the unlawful abduction or confinement of a person against their will. Yeah, that justifies the title of this video.
We're supposed to only go up the street, loop around El Dorado, and then come back. He decided to ignore all instructions from me.
Sales associate Edgar Lopez says Saeed instead got onto 75 in McKinney at speeds topping 160 miles an hour. While he's smiling in the videos online, Lopez says inside he was panicking.
It was just a whole bunch of emotions of fear and just wanting to get back to my house and wife and kids safely. But basically got to the point where we ended up somewhere north of Fort Worth.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Being trapped in a car with some social media clout chaser, wondering if you'll actually make it home to your family, that's wild and absolutely unacceptable. But what's messed up about this is this guy is exploiting these salespeople's desire to make a sale, because all these incidents happen during these guys' work hours. And you think if you're about to close a deal on an expensive car, you know that commission, that's normally a fat check. So you might be a little bit hesitant to speak up right away when a test drive starts going a little sideways. As Matt Ducat also pointed out, if you think that you're about to sell a car, you might not say what you would normally say to someone who's driving that way. like swearing or speaking your mind.
It's just a scary situation when you're not in control and someone's driving recklessly. And if you're thinking you're about to sell a car, you may not say what you would normally say to somebody that's driving that way.
So in the end, he's basically just exploiting the fact that these salesmen are trying to be professional, make a living. And I do have to acknowledge the car salesmen and car dealers in general, they can be one of the most financially predatory places for a person to be, especially young people. I mean, there are very few places that can convince a young adult to buy a $60,000 thing on payments spread out over like 6 to 7 years, and then suddenly that thing is worth half the value just 3 years later. And then you add some crazy high interest into the mix and things can get pretty bad. I'm just saying, you could really get wrecked if you let some smooth talking salesman and a finance team hit you with that debt trap wombo combo and you buy something you absolutely cannot afford. But also, at the end of the day, that's a skill issue on your part, and it's your responsibility to know what you can actually afford. While the business can be predatory, these guys definitely don't deserve to be trapped in a car with a reckless driver that they don't even know. If anything, this guy is really just selling those kill switches, but why hasn't anyone done anything to stop this guy? Well, that's where things get a little complicated. CBS News Texas contacted nearly a dozen dealerships featured in Amar Saeed's videos, but surprisingly, only 2 said they actually called the police, and neither appeared to have filed a report.
He gets on the test drive with the salesman and immediately starts just spinning the tires, and it looked like he was going 100, 120 miles an hour. The salesman was pretty scared.
So if they really want something done here, they actually have to press charges or file police reports. However, according to CBS, law enforcement sources who have seen the videos said that some of them could be considered careless, reckless driving, or even unlawful restraint. Yeah, that's right, unlawful restraint, as in holding someone against their will. Because when you're in the passenger seat inside of a car that's going 170 miles an hour and there's nothing you can do to stop the car and you're begging the dude to stop, it's safe to say the comparison of you being held hostage isn't unfair. Of course, when he posted a video answering questions about potential legal troubles for his stunts, he didn't take any accountability for his actions, but instead, he said this.
How is the individual driving in those videos not in legal trouble? Well, I'm not an attorney or anything like that, but these videos are quite old for that individual who's driving in those videos. And so the cars are completely fine, no issue with the cars at all. They drive fine, so no provable point that there's been damage under the car. There's no damage to the car.
Why do these guys love to taunt the repercussions of their own actions? That's kind of like pushing someone into a pool and saying, well, they didn't drown, so what's the real problem here? The problem is the reckless endangerment, because he's putting everyone's lives at risk here with that behavior. And again, it's all for just some basic social media attention. This behavior has clearly gone on for quite some time. As mentioned earlier, the summer of 2024 was when they first blasted out this warning to all these dealers. They claim he pretends to be serious about the vehicles he has zero intentions of buying, simply to just get a test drive so he can record himself driving recklessly. And he's actually somehow still posting content fairly regularly. So it's not like he's been stopped yet. Because if he continues, I mean, that's coming inevitably. Now, there are plenty of automotive YouTubers and Instagram personalities creating exciting content without endangering innocent people. And there's a clear difference between what he was doing, pushing 170 on what looked to be a 55-mile-an-hour public road, versus some casual speeding on an open road. Then obviously the best case scenario is just using tracks, closed courses, or private property if you're trying to run a car like he was trying to run a car here. Because let's be real, this guy is not showcasing his driving skills or reviewing cars. He's just scaring the crap out of the salesperson for views. It's the same energy as those pranksters who harass fast food workers or do absolutely disgusting stuff in grocery stores just for some views online. It's not original, it's not impressive, you're just being a burden to society.
We're done.
But one thing that is incredibly crazy about the situation is how Saeed doesn't seem to realize how much trouble he can actually be in. In Texas, Reckless driving is a Class B misdemeanor, which is punishable up to 6 months in jail and fines up to $2,000. And that's just for one instance of reckless driving. And he's filmed himself doing this dozens of times. So because he loves to snitch on himself, these can stack. And then you have the unlawful restraint, which isn't hard to prove either because, you know, he snitches on himself for attention on social media. That could be up to a year in jail for every single count. Then on top of that, all these sales guys could easily sue him for emotional distress or trauma. And again, he's provided all the evidence here. So it's safe to say his social media earnings would not be able to foot the bill for that. And again, I mean, he's not even endangering his own life or the salesman's life. He's also endangering everyone on the road who's unfortunate enough to be there at the same time as him. As we covered before in like January of this year, where you had that TikToker who just obliterated an entire family, all because he was trying to film some social media video, that could easily happen here as well. And the fact that Syed doesn't realize this or doesn't care shows how much of a moron he is. Fortunately for him though, Texas is one of the best states for getting away with speeding. I guess that's unfortunately for the rest of the people. But at the end of the day, you reap what you sow, and if he continues this, I have no doubt that this will catch up to him, but at least he got some social media attention. Maybe, just maybe one day he'll stop being the person 50 Cent was talking about in Window Shopper and actually does something productive in his life and for society. But other than that, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Seriously, I have no idea why people still are doing this. Like, aren't they having like enough understanding? Like, if you do this kind of content, you already seen Johnny Smiley. Hey, you guys must seen Johnny Smiley, must seen that Patali guy, and then you'd be like, you know what, Brad might be. Holy shit, people are really stupid at this point. Just yesterday, I watched the Fact Fiend one talk about like the Matrix stuff, like how stupid humanity is. It's like the robot actually are trying their best to just be kind to human, and human is just flat out, no matter in what circumstances, just trying to be as dick as possible to the robot. And then when the robot say "fuck you," and then it'll be like, "Oh, sorry." Like they literally are just being a dick for fun at that point. Oh yeah, there's one thing I still haven't finished watching it.
Oh my god, so precious. The contrast, I can't. This is so funny. Oh, she's so hot. Here, I'll pull up my my normal one. Okay, it's normal now.
I don't think anything we do can be considered normal.
Actually, you're right. Why did I even mention that? I shouldn't have ever said anything. Does chat know what's happening today? I never know what's happening. Today, I'm with the beautiful Melody. And today, we're gonna be watching cringe clips of each other. And we will do our best not to cringe. Some of these are so old.
I think we're doomed, to be perfectly honest.
Well, at least we'll go down together.
I love going down.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I got competition. Warranty competition.
There's a competition? I have performance anxiety.
Well, it doesn't look like it. I learned something fun today, and that is that there is a threshold in media share.
A threshold in media share? What does that mean?
They sent so many cringe clips of you and me that I can't send any more despite having more video.
Oh my god.
I don't know which ones to send you. I can send you the ones where you're on the thumbnail.
We can go back and forth. I'll show a clip and then you'll show a clip.
You'll show me yours and I'll show you mine?
Yeah.
Just like my dream. This is gonna be the most wholesome Bible reading stream, I would say.
We're your youth group leaders. Al and Mel. And just make sure everything is good.
Do you have sus tabs too that you have to look out for?
No, I was just making sure the volume was okay. Did you just self-report though?
Well, I had too much sake and I went on a deep dive on that dragon site, so I learned a lot. That's pretty cool. There's like 7 tabs open of just that. Let's get ready to rumble.
I'm just gonna press play. This one is from my chat. It's called Nothing Like Chat's Milk Bag. I can't wait to find out the context of this.
I heard you were looking to drink some milk. Well, don't worry. I always have some on me. Here, have a taste since you desire it. What do you think of my milk bag?
What was this?
I don't know. Coder, what were you talking about?
Wait, that was a TTS?
Yeah.
Very cool clip there.
You know, it's a shame. It's a shame because there's so many people with lactation fetishes, but it's like you only really lactate if you're...
I know.
Do you ever take a magnifying glass and put it up to your nipples?
Yeah. I love to clamp my nipples under a microscope.
It's porous, like a block of cheese, but really small, like an eraser.
I too like to think of my nipples as the pink eraser tip of a pencil.
I haven't seen too many nipples. I saw my mom's nipples.
I'm not asking you any of these questions. You just keep talking and you keep telling me these things. Like, no one prompted you to bring up your mom's nipples. I can't. Wait, can you send me the next clip? I'm just gonna go straight down through them all, okay?
Let's go down.
Okay. I really need to stop using that word. It like activates your sleeper agent.
I have too many sleepers inside me. Wait. God damn it! I'm sorry. I don't mean
She's so normal today. Let's continue. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Thank you, Sinister Mr. Fister.
God! Thank you so much! I need to be red!
How do you hit these notes? Like, for real, how do you hit these notes? How?
I don't know. I can't help it.
I won't blind you, believe me.
But he's what?
He's like a wolf thing.
Yeah, that's why I want him.
What is your
Are you?
You wanna fuck me now that I am
Oh my God.
a werewolf?
Wait, no. I've never seen this side of you before.
I can explain.
No, go on. Tell me. What was going on here?
Will you clump with me?
Let's tie the knot now.
I'm sorry. It's just the word knot. I think it's the letters because I think like garlic knot. And so if I'm at an airport and I see like the Auntie Anne's whatever garlic thing, if it's like in the morning, I'll be like, because I'm thinking like, is there semen on that? Do I want a semen pretzel at 8:30 in the morning? No.
Don't mind if I do.
God damn, why do you say these things?
Am I unwell?
I mean, kind of.
Let's watch this clip of me eating fish sperm now.
Eyes closed?
Okay.
Oh no.
I'm just
Chat,
gonna show,
maybe go.
Chat where it is first.
Chat, go on a potty break.
Focus.
I hate Gary.
Are you ready? Okay, coming in.
I mean,
keep it hot.
Gary's misleading because she's so
Better swallow that bitch.
positive.
You better swallow that bitch.
She said you better swallow that bitch.
You better swallow.
Swallow it.
Quitter. You gotta
Go through the motions of the Don't you be there.
This was sick.
I
don't know how
You're a big girl now.
I don't know how.
You're a big girl now. You can be adventurous.
My mouth is full of cum. Just nutted in my mouth.
That
I don't even get aftercare.
She facilitated.
That was literally horrible.
When I saw that, I was unhappy, I would say.
I still remember what it tasted like. You know, in hentai, when you open your mouth after a nut and there's like steam coming out of it, it felt like that.
Wait, let's see if I can do the toggle. Wait.
You have a yep cum toggle.
Oh no, there's steam. And I have a trampoline. You wanna see?
Yeah, I wanna see too. Oh, can I try your trampoline too?
Oh yeah, definitely. Here, hop on.
This is so fun. Dude, I love going over to Mel's house. This is the funnest thing ever.
I remember I talked to Gary and I'm like, what won't you eat? And she's like, I'll eat anything with legs that isn't a chair or table. And I'm just like, that was
what
the funniest.
the actual hell? Okay, Gary, here's your final meal. Spread my legs. Oh my god, this is so old.
Weirdest thing Bao has ever used?
Yes.
Question mark?
Okay.
Weirdest thing I've ever used? I have never been that adventurous. I mean, the good old hairbrush.
Yeah, it's because I
the
lied.
good old
How do you think you've changed since this clip of ours?
I'm more ambitious. My tits are bigger.
Oh, what if your ambition is directly correlated with your boob size?
It kind of is, yeah.
Okay, chat, we need to spam Mel to the moon. And then that way, we're gonna make her ambition skyrocket. And because it's correlated with their boobs.
It is.
I can't wait to watch this next clip.
Whip it out, whip it out, whip it out, whip it out.
Oh, God.
Bow!
Baby.
You are the #1 reason animal shelters have locks on the doors and gun racks on the walls, but I'm not going to spend much time on that.
Bestiality.
Everyone knows you've never met a roughly human-shaped threat that didn't make you weak in the knees. Instead, let's talk about how in the last 3 months of streams, you've started on time exactly... Never. Every stream announcement you make is followed by another one saying you're pushing stream back because you once again gave yourself diarrhea with an iced coffee.
It was one time in the past 3 months.
Even then, I know I've still got another hour before I have to tune in because you absolutely forgot to install whatever game you're playing that day.
Ooh.
You're the type of person to zone out and get bored scrolling TikTok, so you close the app and instead open TikTok.
Why do you hate me? Yeah. These are the type of people in my community, by the way.
That was sick. Those are some good ass burns. Chat, I'm afraid what you would say. I'm not a strong person.
Maybe you can like tell them to keep it to maybe medium hot. See, my chat just, you know, every stream is kind of medium hot, and then the streams where I allow them to go all out,
I can't think of a single mean thing to judge you about.
many would disagree.
I'm ready. Hit me. I'm ready.
All right, this one's dedicated to you, I think. It's the one that you're sending.
Next,
That's true.
How many toys do you have?
2 are out of commission. Actually,
How does that mean?
3, including the rose. That one was a new addition to the graveyard.
What?
The rose. Not because I broke it, because I couldn't find the charger. Call me a magician, the way I got a wand and a rabbit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I bought one other one, but it was really, really big. and then I was like, okay, this is bigger than I thought it would be. And then I never used it, and I lost it during the move. I have no idea where it is.
I've been in that situation with my mom. It was so embarrassing.
With your mom? What did you lose? Where?
I was going to summer camp. Well, it wasn't like young person summer camp. It was like one of those like adults. What are they like adventure things? Like where you can do like volunteer work and you can also like see like the area. I was older, chat. I was older, but I had my box and it said toys on it, and my mom was helping me like get all the stuff together. And I remember the box. I dropped it. The little foldy pieces popped open, and then I don't know what magical spring adventure happened, but a huge dildo just sort of popped off the top. And then I feel so bad. This kindly older man, he went to pick it up because he was like, oh, this young woman, an item has fallen out of her box. Let me assist. And he leans down to almost grab it, and his brain processes that it's a big dildo on the ground. And his hand stops, like, before grabbing it. He just didn't move. He stood there, frozen in time. My mom's just not even phased. She's like, this is just another day. This is you.
Let's play this next one. I think you're gonna really like it.
What are you doing over there?
Me? Nothing. I was good maxing.
What if a ghost came up to you in real life and he showed up wearing only one sock, but it wasn't on his feet?
What's wrong with her? You know how like when you slap someone, you leave like a handprint mark? I want that to happen, but with his fucking box on my face.
What the fuck? Why do I have to come back to that?
I'm so unwell right now. It's crazy.
So if there was a ghost, you would suck it?
The ghost is really large and scary.
You sound eroticized right now.
No.
such thing as ugly bastard ghosts because that is a unique concept that
Ugly
needs more
bastard
representation.
I remember there was this one time Lily was like, man, I love ugly bastards. And I was like, what? The way some artists draw ugly bastards. And this isn't a dunk on like people. This is just like the way they draw ugly bastards. I said that I couldn't believe that people just let those characters walk in the streets of Japan. And then everyone was like, Bao hates all men.
Wow, you hate all men. I can't believe that.
I don't hate men.
Oh my god.
Oh, my high beauty standards. Chat, have you seen how they draw the ugly bastards? No.
Yes, I have.
They're just monsters. They're not even people. Okay, actually, this is not helping me. She thinks we're ugly. No, I don't. That's not true. She doesn't record from us. She thinks we're SCP.
Oh god, no, an SCP.
Okay, I'm gonna play the next clip. Oh. Oh god.
Is that a horse?
Why?
No.
Why did they make a horse thirst trap, bro? He's holding a whip.
How is he?
And he's like in Shibari. Whoa! For BoJack Horseman, yeah.
What are you doing here? What is this?
Bro, why they make him look like that? He's literally this like jacked horse covered in red ropes, tied like Shibari, and he's holding a whip. Okay? Like, I didn't make this character.
Do you have a throne? Cat, is there any way you can send a suggestion of a horse book variety that is not Berserk?
There's horses in Berserk.
Oh, this is...
Wait, what? What am I missing? Don't tell her. What are you? Oh, what the hell is this?
It's literature.
What's wrong with you?
It's literature.
No, it's not. This is a crime. When was this even written? This looks ancient. Who in the 1900s wanted to a horse? David Bussell, can someone raid his house right now? Someone make sure this man does not own a barn.
You know, just because you can fork horses legally in Washington State doesn't mean you should, because that's how you die.
Washington State?
Yeah, it's still legal. Do you know the story of Mr. Hands?
Oh my god, is that from Washington State?
Summarization. This man had a relationship with a horse where it dicked him down and he died.
He died? The horse went berserk in his guts. Anyways, let's just watch the next clip.
Spinning. Spin, 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 spin.
What was I munching on?
No.
I love how it's just the Mel clip.
I don't know what the Mel clip is though.
It's literally just the Mel clip.
What is happening here? What is like actually happening here?
Oh look, we're reacting to my reaction of the clip that we just reacted to.
What is the sounds you are making?
Now, I think you should look up what today's Wordle of the day was.
What was it?
Maybe
It was
we
breed.
should get busy since it
Are you
is
serious?
spring.
I'm so dead ass. It was the first time I played Wordle in like a year.
And it was breed.
And
it was
you did
breed.
this.
You put the energy into the
And
universe.
don't forget to ban Bow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Said for me to react to it. Were you not the people that told me to look at it? This is a normal reaction. What did you think was gonna happen?
I said that last clip
Okay,
too,
ban.
huh? So, what do we think? We should do a collab on the other side and do something horrific.
So everybody, be sure to check out Mel's stuff too. She's got a lot of really cool, cute new models to show off. So go give her lots of love too on all the sites imaginable, including the funny ones.
Thank you again for the hanging. It was delightful.
Hey, did this video make you chuckle? Maybe puff a little air out of your nostril? Well, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss my new videos. Or else, you don't want to know what happens.
Hello, it's me.
Don't make fun of me for the minor sunburn. I looked out the window for 5 seconds and this was the result of it. But it's been wild for me to sit back and watch as people have been visibly confused over the reception of Bungie's upcoming game, Marathon. And I've seen writers, I've seen journalists, I've seen commentators and content creators and fans all sitting back going, I'm just so sick of how toxic things have become. How could you be so critical of something that's not even out yet? It's almost like we haven't been, for the better part of the last decade, watching as these companies have been torching their reputation at both ends, while also at the exact same time bending these players over backwards, taking advantage of them. You want these guys to be optimistic? What? Marathon doesn't have an uphill battle. It has a mountain to climb, and that's not a mountain that the players put there. That's an obstacle Bungie put there. It's not that Marathon as a game conceptually can't find an audience. I do think an audience is there for it. How big that is, that's a completely different story. But its biggest issues aren't tied to the game. It's tied to Bungie. So today what I want to do is I want to talk about the negative discourse that's surrounding Marathon right now. I want to talk about why it is the way that it is. I want to talk about how Sony and Bungie have essentially clipped its wings before it can even fly. And I'd like to talk about whether or not Marathon can run or fall flat on its face. Spoiler, it's going to be a little bit of both. Just last week, Bungie finally pulled back the curtain on their upcoming extraction shooter, Marathon, a name that echoes from the depths of the studio's past. For those that are unfamiliar, Marathon wasn't just one of Bungie's earliest projects, it was their beginning. Originally developed for the Mac in the mid-90s, the Marathon trilogy gave Bungie its first taste of recognition, but it also nearly killed them. One of the games in the series was shipped with a critical error that, no exaggeration, was wiping players' hard drives upon installation. The backlash for this was catastrophic. Bungie was drowning in returns and on the verge of bankruptcy, and to survive, they ended up cutting a deal with Microsoft, and in exchange for covering the damages, Bungie would develop a new project for Microsoft and their upcoming console, the original Xbox. That project was Halo. So in a way, Marathon was both the origin of Bungie's fame and their near-death experience that then forced them into pivoting into a franchise that made them into legends. Now here we are 3 decades later, they're dusting off that legacy and they're gambling with fate all over again. Now this new Marathon, controversially enough, is set to be a 3-player squad-based PvEVP extraction shooter. Players are going to be taking on the role of runners, humans that have abandoned their mortal bodies for sleek cybernetic shells, chasing fame and fortune across the ruins of Tau Ceti. After a mysterious calamity had wiped out the planet's researchers, corporations had stepped in, sponsoring these runners to come in and scavenge whatever's left. Tech, data, secrets, whatever they can get their hands on. Players are going to battle with hostile AI sentinels, alien threats, and other squads in a race to, well, extract before being wiped out. Bungie has also gone on to hint a little bit more at larger scale events as well, boss encounters, dungeons, maybe even some Destiny style raids if we're lucky that might be hiding underneath the surface of this game. Now on paper, this should have been a slam dunk. A major studio with one of the strongest FPS pedigrees in all of gaming, reviving a long dormant IP, creating a very distinct looking sci-fi world within a genre that really isn't all that overcrowded. 5 or 6 years ago, I think this would have lit the gaming world on fire, but times have changed, my friends, and this game's reception couldn't have been any colder. Instead of hype, the announcement was met with skepticism, sarcasm, and exhaustion. Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, go ahead and pick your platform. Doesn't really matter where you're looking because very few players were impressed and even fewer were optimistic. Day over day, as more information has been revealed, the backlash against both Bungie and Marathon has only gotten worse. I think the first red flag of this reveal was the genre itself. Marathon is a hero-based extraction shooter. That alone is going to raise some eyebrows. While Bungie definitely has a long history of being praised for its PvP in Halo and Destiny, what's truly made them who they are is their PvE content. Say what you will about Destiny's monetization and its seasonal bloat. Believe me, we'll talk about that later. But there is a reason why their raids and dungeons are considered the gold standard for MMO-styled action combat. Beyond that, keep in mind that this game doesn't seem to have any narrative and it's not going to feature any type of PvE cooperative modes, yet Bungie has built their entire empire on cinematic storytelling, memorable characters, and finely tuned cooperative play. So this sudden pivot into a genre that appeals to a completely different audience of player just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It doesn't align with what their audience wants. It feels like trend chasing, plain and simple. And on top of that, the extraction shooter genre is brutal. There are really only, what, 2 success stories that we have, Escape from Tarkov and Hunt Showdown. Nearly every other attempt has face planted after launch because these games are niche by design. They're not meant to be easily digestible or streamlined experiences. Their very appeal lies in their punishing loops, the tension, the messiness, the lack of hand-holding. The moment that you try to sand off the edges to appeal to a broader audience, you kill what makes these games special. Simplify the loot and the game feels hollow. Add revives and you cut the stakes. Throw in flashy abilities and you undermine player skill. Any of these changes tells fans of that genre that this studio doesn't understand what they're building, and Bungie is already making all of those changes. I mean, case in point, there's no proximity chat in Marathon because according to Bungie, it would be way too toxic. I am so sick of this, by the way. This constant desire to soften and sanitize the edges of every gaming experience. This isn't making games safer, it's making them less interesting. The only thing that's safe about them is nobody's going to be playing them. In an extraction shooter, proximity chat isn't just flavor, it's function. It creates emergent, unforgettable moments. I cannot tell you guys how many times I've run into another player while playing Escape from Tarkov, adrenaline pumping, we're awkwardly trying to negotiate a ceasefire. Maybe we part ways peacefully, maybe we actually team up, maybe we betray each other in the next 5 minutes. That tension, that unpredictability, that's what makes this genre. Bungie stripping it out in the name of safety shows that either they don't get it or they're too afraid to embrace it. Now, if that wasn't enough, and I really love this part, I love when these developers do this, but when fans were asking if the game would include more PvE-focused content, maybe offer some options down the road for players that want something more cooperative over competitive encounters, Bungie responded with everybody's favorite line, "This game isn't made for you," telling fans of Destiny PvE that they don't recommend Marathon to them. Seriously, that's the message that you guys want to be sending to the Destiny community. The same people that have funded the game that you're making right now through years of support, expansions, and microtransactions that they purchased in Destiny 2. Bungie isn't just ignoring their core audience here, they are actively alienating them. It is baffling to me how many of these studios continue to make the exact same mistake, treating genuine questions like they're nuisances instead of an opportunity. Maybe, just maybe, if Bungie was paying attention, they would realize that players generally like the idea of a PvE-focused experience where they can then take what they earn into a more high-stakes PvP mode. It's the one thing that players have been waiting for and they've been wanting to get from Tarkov, and arguably, Bungie has the better skill set to deliver. Imagine if having a co-op PvE exploration mode or narrative mode where you can go and build your wealth, skill, and arsenal, and then go and take that into an extraction mode where there's more risk, where there's more reward, where the challenge is even greater. Players want that. That sounds like a great game that a lot of people would want to play. I do not understand how you miss a layup like this. Now you're sitting there saying to yourself, it just can't get any worse. LD, it can't get worse. Baby, it's 2025. Of course it can. Marathon, while only launching with 6 playable characters and 3 maps, is not going to be free to play. It's a premium title. And not only will players have to pay up front.
Here's the thing. Anyone plays the cycle? Okay, if you know the cycle, then I don't have to talk a lot. Man, I actually love the cycle. It's just there's too many hackers in the game.
The game will also launch with battle passes, microtransactions, and premium content. Bungie said it would be a premium product, and through their official Marathon Twitter later then clarified, saying that it won't be full price and details will come later, likely pointing to Sony's strategy of pricing live service titles around $40 like Helldivers 2, Foam Stars, and Concord, noticing that only one of those games survived. Now, I've seen a lot of people trying to defend this, and I got something to say to you, by the way. People making comparisons to Helldivers 2, you clearly haven't played it. That game earned its $40 price tag through ethical monetization and great gameplay. Every cosmetic, every battle pass, every microtransaction in Helldivers 2 can be earned through gameplay. Their battle passes don't expire. The grind is fair. Players feel respected. That's the key. Bungie, on the other hand, has one of the worst reputations in the entire industry for monetization. Between Destiny 2's constantly shifting economy, disappearing content, and overpriced cosmetics, there is no reason at all to believe that Marathon will offer anything close to the level of goodwill of Helldivers 2. Sony saw the success of Helldivers 2 and took the wrong lesson. They saw the price point, not the philosophy behind it. I guess at least we can say that Sony did learn one good lesson from Helldivers 2, and they will not be requiring players to have a PlayStation account on PC or Xbox to be able to play Marathon. So what's my take on all of this? Honestly, I like these kind of games. I genuinely do. I dig the aesthetic. The world looks really intriguing, and I know Bungie's gunplay is still some of the best in the business. With that said, I'm incredibly skeptical whether or not they can pull this off. I do not like the hero shooter angle. Those character designs look painfully weak. The gameplay looks painfully slow. They are charging a premium price. They are known for predatory monetization, and they are already making compromises on what...
Here's the thing. Why don't you make an extraction game that is PvE only? Why I say this is actually really simple. You want people to buy the game, means the extraction PvEVP style game, you required players, not just one set of players, two set of players, two set of 14 in the map, maybe 3, 4, 5 sets. Go in there, compete what they want to do, might lose a lot of things they have, and then the net profit is not there. It's a game that encourages team play, but at the same time, if anyone screw up, the loss is so big that flame war is just going to happen, and then people might not play the game after like some very bad shit happens if they don't have too good of a sponsorship. That's the thing. Everyone have to understand a little bit of this particular part, okay? So, if you're going to need people to buy your game on this type of extraction game format, make it PvE. Make the core gameplay PvE. You can have the PvEVP, but have a separate core gameplay itself is PvE and then extract. You have that, and then let people have like a separate profile that do the PvP part. Problem? Not exactly solved, but you satisfy the people that willing to buy your game, go into it, play either solo or the friend on such type of game. They will be happy. People who buy your game will be happy. And then, if they willing enough, they will go into the PvP side and have some fun over there too. Even they won't have any fun on the PvP side, keep losing all that shit. They can still go back to their PvE side alone and enjoy what they bought. Business, okay? It seems like they forgot how to do business. And I never really see the appeal of like those kind of like PvEVE, like VP, the kind of like extraction type game. Like I know Tarkov make it kind of like fun, but yeah, like there's only can have like 1, 2 of this type of games. If you really want to have a hand in this type of market, I do think making a full PvE extraction game is your best choice. It is going to be your best choice. If you want to make the game sell, not just a, not just a free-to-play model game, okay? And what's with all those like battle pass shit? You don't really need it. One-time purchase, a good game, you just need to make a good game. Live service is fucked. Look at your Destiny. You don't really know how to make a live service game in reality. You manage to make something that managed to stay a long time because of Destiny 1. And then at the very beginning of the Destiny 2, it's run like a shit show. But the middle, kind of good. But the end, I still can't say like it fall off like really hard, especially on the monetization part. It's a complete shit show. This type of game should not be even run as a live service in the first place. It's weird. It's weird.
What makes this sort of game special? You guys are entering into one of the most competitive and unforgiving markets in this industry. The bodies of dead live service games stretch as high as the unemployment lines are long, and you're making a bet on a genre that has far more casualties than it does successes. But you guys think you can do it better. I feel like this is just another chapter in this industry's ongoing identity crisis. We've reached the tail end of the Battle Royale boom. These publishers are now scrambling, trying to figure out what comes next. Extraction shooters, to them, seem like the next big experiment, but I don't think they're it. They're just too niche for a broad audience, and broad audiences aren't what Bungie is trying to target. Most players are going to lean hard in either one side or the other, either PvE or PvP focused games. Forcing both of them together narrows that appeal, and any compromise that you're going to make to try to cater to one side or the other ultimately will ruin this game for everyone. Now, that's not to say that Marathon can't find success, but I do think the kind of success that Bungie and Sony are banking on is a fantasy, especially if they're charging a premium price on top of battle passes and microtransactions. You're putting up a paywall around a game that lives or dies by player engagement. It makes no sense to me. You are actively pushing away the very people that might have just tried the game out of curiosity, people who might have liked it, stuck around, and maybe even brought their friends with them. Now, I realize this is going to be a relatively cold take, but I just do not see the logic in charging an upfront cost for something that is effectively a free-to-play model. When your business depends on keeping players around for the long term, the only thing that matters is how many people you can get in the door and how long you can keep them there. I'm going to tell it to you guys straight. I think a lot of people are preaching platitudes when it comes to this game. I think that Sony spent $400 million on Concord. How much are they willing to spend on a Bungie live service title? I would guarantee there's some serious cash that flew into this. Not only that.
Also, Bungie killed a few of their live service title too by doing consultation while they can't even do their game well. Well, I'll be going to the toilet first. Enjoy the Shiori I made, and I'll be back later. And I'm back. Well, I finished my Shiori. Oh yeah, I should actually take a look at the channel of it. Hold on. I need to do some adjustment. Okay? I need to do some adjustment on the chat. The phone chat, I feel like, since it's not like very aligned, I need a proper alignment on this thing, on the 3D thing. Okay? Okay. What I need is this thing not go that far. Yes. Then the view would go slightly smaller. Okay. Then let's go to the right a bit more. Then continue zooming out. Okay. Continue zooming out. And yeah, now it's like much more accurate. Not like fully accurate, it's better than nothing, okay? I forgot to do the math when I do the angle thingy when I draw. So, it's better than nothing at the moment. Everything should be doing fine. And yeah, this thing I don't really take a look at much. People complain about the game. I'm also complaining about the game. I already know the things. Don't have to talk too much. Ooh, this one I wanted to see.
The drunk sheriff Midwest safety vid. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Nicholas Kochi is the sheriff of Hampton County, Massachusetts, which is where the city of Springfield is located. The officers are able to get the sheriff to come out of the casino so they can investigate. However, the sheriff won't make it easy for them.
How you doing, Sheriff? Good, very good. Oh man, he has got that build. The bowling ball build. I have a feeling this is going to get aggressive.
Actually, what happened? What's going around the corner? I popped the tire. Do you know where? We're looking to see where you were in the casino and everything, and it's all good. It's all good.
A drunk sheriff had a car crash right around the corner of a casino. I might not be a detective. But that is a mighty sus for me. But yeah, hold on a little bit. I'll go grab some snack. I need some snack while watching this. Okay? I'm back. Hold on a little bit.
Change the tire. Okay. Okay. All right. The problem is, hang on for a second. Were you the one driving it? No. You weren't driving? Okay.
He just said that he popped the tire. I came around the corner, popped the tire. Were you driving it? No. Maybe he's gonna pull a sovereign citizen. I was traveling. Yes, I was the one traveling in my vessel.
I've got this right here. Yeah. Everything's on camera. I got to take it by the numbers. Change the tire. I got to take it by the numbers.
Yeah, just let his buddy come out here and change the tire. He'll be here any second now.
I'm going to say we'll see that on the camera. I can go talk to him. Everything will be good. All right. What's that? Okay.
What did he think that was going to change? He knows they have body cams. Why would he? This guy's on some shit, actually. Wait a minute, that's kind of galaxy brain. You can't say he said he was driving. Perhaps his lips just looked like he said that.
I'll tell you what, leave the car here. Leave it. Nope, sir.
Yeah, just fucking leave it. I don't need it anymore.
Stay put, all right?
I'm gonna come hit it with a sledgehammer in a moment.
Because based on,
It's clear by the sheriff's body language that he is likely secretly signaling for his lieutenant to deactivate his body camera, which the lieutenant refuses to do.
Right. And if
W from the lieutenant, love that.
Yeah. But right now I'm conducting an investigation. Okay. I need you.
God, he is steaming. He looks like Eustace from Courage when he got that gel on his head. Holy, he is turning so fucking red too.
Right. Where was it?
Right up on the corner. And I took the turn.
Took the turn into here?
Yeah.
Okay. There looks like there's a plant on there. Was there a plant that
might have been?
Might have been. Oh. But that's where it was, to the remnants of the time.
Someone might have thrown a plant at me. I don't know.
You
what?
I have no idea.
Hey, it happens. What? Is it a crime to hit a plant?
From today?
What happened? Can't hit plants no more?
Everything's reported, everything's inspected, everything's going to be nice and easy, okay, sir? All right.
He is so fucking mad. Oh my. I can feel his spiritual pressure from here. It's like Kinpachi, but much more rotund.
And just see if there's any find the tire. No.
He's activating T-pose. Well, it's that way we can easily model him in Maya.
Where that was it, and here. Okay. Okay. We're gonna take a walk over where we're a little bit out of sight. Okay. No. How much do you have to drink tonight, sir? Couple beers.
Oh, not the couple of beers. Oh no.
Okay.
The couple. He's fucking toasted.
I'd like to ask you to do field sobriety.
Nope, not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
I'm not driving. Yeah. Field sobriety for what?
All right. What's that?
I'm not driving. I'm driving for a while.
From East Columbus, you turned in here.
Means you're driving. No, I'm not driving. I'm driving for a while. Means you're driving. No, I'm driving for a while. Means you're driving. No, I'm driving for a while.
No trace of it left.
I'd ask you to. I'm gonna ask you a second time if you will perform field sobriety, so I can determine if you are safe to drive. Okay. I have a PBT that can sort this out right now.
Not gonna happen.
Okay. So you're gonna.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Right. He's driving a hard bargain.
Mid alcohol consumption. All right.
A little bit.
Driving. Okay.
So
all right. Well, then assume. Then at that point.
While the body cam footage is redacted, this is when the sheriff's official arrest takes place. The body cam comes right after the sheriff is placed in handcuffs.
Why is it redacted? What happened? This sheriff hang hog or something? Why would we redact? Like, we got everything else. What could have possibly happened in this moment? Unless he just fucking went sack out. Why is that redacted? Huh? Just ongoing court case? I guess, yeah, I guess this might be like a crucial component here, but I feel like everything else has been very strong evidence already. I can't imagine there was anything else here that's like a narrative changer.
All right, we're gonna walk down to my unmarked sergeant. Let me have you come with me as well. All right.
It's always just letting him fix it.
No, I think you can drive that out and be honest with you. It doesn't look too bad. Yeah, just have someone hop in there and just take it to the station.
No county vehicle. If he's able to fix it.
Oh my god. That is catastrophic. What does this guy do? Run over a landmine?
Oh, careful.
He's even wearing a shirt that says sheriff on the sleeve.
You just, yeah, you can move anything over.
Very interesting. This is also probably one of the only times I've seen a front seat arrest. The only other time is when that lady slipped out of her handcuffs and stole the car.
Scrapes as well. More scrapes in the middle of the roadway. Consistent path. More scrapes in the middle of the roadway.
This guy's full-blown investigating. Good for him. We're gonna find that tire, goddammit.
These scrapes lead to the location where they found.
Yeah, riding on the rims will do that to you. Scratching up the whole road, leaving an actual treasure map to him.
Kochi freely admits Saturday, September 21st, was not a good day for him. He was arrested outside MGM Springfield for driving while intoxicated and subsequently suspended for several days without pay.
Several days?
Just several days?
How are you gonna feed his family? Several days? Oh, I dare not say. Several days? Oh, wow. Nick, buddy, wow. Punishment does not fit the crime. That's extreme. Wow, that's extreme. They gave him a long weekend. Woof.
Very blessed as the sheriff of Hampden County, but more importantly, as the person, Nick Kochi. There's no question 6 weeks ago was not one of my finest moments.
Kochi immediately took ownership for that behavior, leaving court after his arraignment in late September.
Am I stupid or is that suit way too big for him? That looks like me wearing my dad's suit.
Leaving court after
Why are the sleeves so big?
in late September, he pulled no punches at the time. The sheriff is humbled by the outpouring of support and understanding from the community and says he won't let them down again.
And if there's a day that comes up and you don't show your best version, well, tomorrow you wake up and you make sure your version's better.
Very inspirational.
That's a lesson that I'm going to continue to show who Nick Kochi is. Never mind the sheriff part. Who am I as a person?
Kochi, in his second term as sheriff, said he's resilient.
I'm sure that same courtesy is extended to everybody else. Yeah. Look, drunk driving, not great. But look, I was a victim. And now, I can rise above this and become the hero I was meant to be.
His driver's license was also temporarily suspended, and he was required to attend an OUI education program. As of April 2025, there are no reports indicating Kochi has encountered further legal trouble. In fact, in January 2025, he was appointed vice president of the Massachusetts Association. Let us know your thoughts about this incident in the comments below, and if you think the prosecutor should have also charged him with leaving the scene of a crash.
No, why would they do that? No, what? I agree with this YouTube commenter. Lieutenant needs to be the sheriff. Man's the epitome of integrity. Takes guts to stand up to your colleagues and overwhelming courage to stand up to your boss. Unironically, that lieutenant, huge W. What's crazy is I bet he was fucking fired. Well, I mean, probably. I don't think he would have got away with firing that guy, especially with this kind of case, but I bet the sheriff really thought about how to punish him. Crazy. That is crazy.
Who's this? Is that Michi? Why is she a rat? She's gonna put me on an FBI watch list. Quinn? All right. I would definitely show a Victorian child Quinn, but the pregnancy one has to be the pregnancy one. Cotton? The most family-friendly of them all? Oh yeah, I would show Cotton to a kindergarten class for sure. You guys ever listen to her ASMR streams? They're really nice. I definitely would only watch her in my bedroom with headphones on. Okay, what's up YouTube? Today I'm gonna be doing a tier list, but it's way different than any tier list stream you've ever seen. This tier list has over 90 VTubers, and the question is, would I show this VTuber to a normie? And we've got lots of ranks. S being the most safest normal thing. So safe that I would show this VTuber to a kindergarten class. That's how safe they are to normie real world. A, next in line, I would probably play their stream in church. This is like a nice, happy, family, fun, PG location. This is definitely a pretty high pass. B, would watch in public with no headphones. C, would only watch in bedroom with headphones on. So now we're entering like, you know, this is for acquired tastes only. I'm not gonna bother the public with D is all right. So at this point, I am worried about my safety along with how others perceive me. If I'm caught watching this VTuber, then it will definitely change the trajectory of everyone's perception of me. So E, this is like a power gap. This is just straight up. This puts me on a FBI watch list if I'm caught watching this VTuber. So now we're got second to last. This would kill a Victorian child if they saw a clip. G, this is the absolute worst of the worst. Genuinely so vile that I wouldn't even show this to Satan. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First on the list is Obi Katie Cat. She's got an incredible primo voice. I don't know if that's the correct term for it. And she's very beautiful. Metal music isn't always church friendly. We all know that. Probably would not lay her in a church. I think they would try to baptize me. I would probably watch her in public with no headphones. Would I want to blast Screamo in public? I don't know. Some people do that. I feel like an old lady is gonna beat the shit out of me. Super cool though. If I watch it with headphones, then I can truly enjoy her music. Next is Amelie, Ms. Monarch. Other than the times where she talks about having the Bracken's babies, she's pretty PG in terms of VTuber standards. And you really gotta think about VTuber standards. Like, it's really not that bad. I would probably watch Amelie in public. Aethel? Bro, Aethel's so funny. Honestly, he does talk a lot about showing whole, and I would probably just watch in my bedroom with headphones on, you know? Next is Kamimi. Kamimi, well, I don't know what kind of clips Kamimi shows her streams, but I know the kind of clips that she shows me. I don't know if I would show that to anyone at any age. I would say watch in bedroom with headphones on. Chibi? Chibi is genuinely so funny. Not that Chibi is not safe for church. Chibi would cause a lot of confusion in a church. I think she falls into the tier of like if I put headphones on a Neanderthal and played a Chibi clip, I think the Neanderthal would combust. Chibi's brain rot in a good way. Yeah, I'm sure the Neanderthal feels that way too. Doki? Doki's probably fine. I would probably watch Doki in public with no headphones. It's not that Doki says anything weird. It's when she goes into Apex lobbies and then you get to hear what everyone else is saying. It's not her. It's the environment she finds herself in. Shadow is a very cute girl. She loves to make people smile. She has a lot of things to say, and not all of them would smile if they heard it. But it's okay because she's really cute. Okay, Leaflet kind of reminds me of Nemu in that every now and then some unhinged, off-color, out-of-pocket just slips out. Thank God we're not at an airport. If we were at an airport, he'd be in a lot of trouble. I would say FBI watch list. Not trying to be put on the no-fly list. I've known Numi for quite a while. We are quite close, and as a good friend, I would hate to be dishonest, you know? I think honesty is the best policy. Let's not kid ourselves. Can't say there's anything educational about the things she says sometimes. John Vtuber? John Vtuber, I could probably show a church or a kindergarten class. I'm gonna put John Vtuber in. I would probably show this to a church because I really want to see like what it would take for me to be convinced to put someone in S tier. Buff is probably on my level. Honestly, all of Vichiban really is. Buff would kill a Victorian child. Oh, that's so true. Can you imagine if you showed them Buff and Buff just starts to transform into a werewolf? That'd be so funny. Fruit is so like, she just plays Apex. However, she is like a lich. I can't say that those are allowed in churches. I wouldn't want her to burst into flames if she went into a church. I would say B. I'd say B. What about Matara? Where would I put Matara? She's very mommy. Boobs are too big for a church. What? I would put Mata in, would only watch in bedroom with headphones on. Okay, Fifi. All right, let's... If Fifi were to come here and try to convince a judge and jury that she doesn't belong in G tier, I would genuinely be surprised if she could last more than 10 seconds before a verdict. Shindigs? I think Shindigs is great for like making kids want to get into coding.
Well, too bad.
Shindigs
I draw
is
really
mostly
slowly.
just educational, but like in
Having
a
the capability of
silly,
making
mean kinda
webtoons is
way.
going to
Okay,
take
so
ages
before
for
I
like
delegate
one
who
page.
is an S tier and who is an A tier, I'm gonna put everyone that I would think would be okay in church here, and then I will delegate it at the end. Next is Joel. Yeah, I would say C2. I would watch in the bedroom with headphones on. Noro. This is little baby Noro. I could probably get away with Noro in public with no headphones. It would just sound like I'm talking to Siri. She's a little bit psycho. I think B is fine. Cotton, the most family friendly of them all. Oh yeah, I would show Cotton to a kindergarten class for sure. You guys ever listen to her ASMR streams? They're really nice. I definitely would only watch her in my bedroom with headphones on. I'd say E. Who's this?
So am I.
Is that Michi? Why is she a rat? Yeah, I'd put her. She's.
But here's the thing. The VTuber beside me, Kirei, is my manga characters, and you've never seen him is because I never able to finish a drawing. I tried, but I never have the ability to draw what I want. The scene setup, this and that, yada yada stuff. I try. It's just not the best. Takes a lot of like effort to draw like one page.
She's gonna put me on an FBI watch list. After that first collab I had with her, I genuinely had no idea what I was getting into, and I felt truly outmatched in that collab. Quinn, I know all about the stream where he put like the TENS unit on his stomach to try and simulate the feeling of giving birth. I would definitely show a Victorian child Quinn with the pregnancy one. Has to be the pregnancy one. Mary? I don't think Mary says anything. D or G? Really? Okay, well, he does have the ugly bastard model. Yeah, I think having the ugly bastard model toggle is definitely F. Fillion? Yeah. I remember, bro, when I was talking to Fillion, I was like, Fillion, I'm kind of nervous for this collab. Like, and then Fillion's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna be on my best behavior. And then the day of the collab comes, and I was like, half the things she said, I was like, if that's your best behavior, I hate to see a day where you're not on your best behavior. I love her so much, but she puts me through a lot. Tenma, I've seen clips. You cannot change my mind. What if I moved Fifi to F tier and then only kept Numi in G tier? But don't tell her that. All she'll see is just that she's at the bottom. Yeah. All right, genius, genius. Toma, I think that if I watch Toma, I would make an ultimate account and watch an incognito. I don't think it's normal to talk about piss in volume in which she does. I think at that point, you're projecting and trying to find humor in something that you are struggling with. And for her, it's piss. Goo? I gotta put her right there, actually. I'm thinking about the conversation we had about eggs the other day. Snuffy? Snuffy is so funny. She can be so comfy cozy, though. I would say D tier. I think Snuffy would be the type to pass a blunt to a Victorian child, and it would kill them. Uwo is B or C? Uwo is either F or B. Uwo's FBI watch list, he built Demon Core. See, that's what I mean. You know how Nile Red got like a genuine government letter? Like a, hey, we see that you're making YouTube videos on how to create dangerous chemicals. Could you not do that? He's one bad day away from being a villain. It's so true, though. He's like chaotic neutral. How about I put him here? Would kill a Victorian child if they saw a clip. Can you imagine showing a Victorian child this man smoking a piece of steak with 100 cigarettes? Pippa? Well, look, she's with her gen mates. This is like a containment center for our safety. Show?
Oh yeah, like he's I forgot, like he's like a material scientist or like chemist. So he actually legit know how to do this thing. As his content.
Oh.
Oh, you will always be the only one here. My stream is always empty. There's no one here. And the moment I say there's no one here, hi there, Leo. Hi there, hi there. Finally, my phone has some other colors. Add more variety of colors here. That is the life of a low-tier streamer. Technically not low-tier streamer. That is the life of the 99% streamer exists in the world. And I'm not kidding. You go to Twitch and then scroll down, or like they have to if they have to toggle to say like low to high stuff like that. You click into it. You can literally find thousand. I'm not even kidding on the numbers. Thousands of people just have like one view, especially in the drawing art scene too. It's practically empty there. the implied, like if you go to take a look, that's like maybe like 20k people is like viewing in like the art category. If you go into it, everyone is one view. So that actually that 10k that 10k of like view in the art category, I can definitely tell you. There's like 9k that is actually everyone just streaming and watch themselves. Well, if you want, you can. I have a Discord server. Just go to my, descriptions in my YouTube one, and there's a Discord server to join in. Just don't post not safe for work stuff. Aside from that, anything is fine. Just go to the creative stuff and then just post stuff there. Anytime, if you need a critic, just post there and ask, and ye shall receive. My link's supposed to work. Definitely is working. Let me take a look. Take a looky look. Okay. This goes over here. Yep, it works. Just go to descriptions and you'll find it. If you can't find the descriptions, well, no choice. Here you go. Stream element. Stream element. Have no money. No money, no money, batsu. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot I need to do like the thingy. Hold on a little bit. Well, you can open the descriptions in phone or in like PC mode. There is a way. You just have to find it. If like the chat is blocking easy, you just go to my older stream and then you can find that and then just click it. Then that's too bad. I can't really see anything without any other things. It's not like you can just email me the pictures, which I'm not into people emailing me DM stuff. Oh yeah, I have to like do this posting too. Like, where was I again? I kind of like, right now I kind of forgot like what I was doing. And I'm supposed to accidents. Oh yeah. Well, if you have a Twitter and then you say you posted, you want me to take a look at it, it's also fine, I guess. What's your name? Is your name similar with your YouTube name? Oh, on your channel. I haven't seen this thing for actually very long while. I never really used the community stuff that much. Hold on a little bit. Oh, Harry Leo. Hi there. You mean the one that you draw 6 hours ago, huh? Yeah, pretty decent. You got the impression, right? Drawing is always about impressions. And since you already got nail the impression part, all you need to do is just to keep adding more impression of the things that you think that should work, and then you just keep adding on it. This is like that's like a practice I always tell people to teach people to actually go and take a look at it. That one is. Hold on a minute, Harry Leo. I don't think I see any of your stuff on my channel, so yeah. By the way, let me go and open this thing up. Yeah, that is a very good practice you can do. You can start doing human too if you really want, but it's better for you to do like object first. Is to nail the thing is called like the understanding of a impressions. So you don't really need to draw a very good or like god tier drawing. All you need to do is to think what the impression of an object is. So if you're thinking about like what does a cup look like? The cup have a cylinder shape. And then you know what? Much more easy. Cylinder shape. Okay. And if I want to turn this into the mug, there's an ear here, and then it's supposed to look like this. You just think like it's supposed to look like this, and then you do it like that, then yeah, it's going to work. just draw it like how you think in your imaginations. You don't have to draw like really like accurate. And you can see like, oh, the mouth now, it doesn't look like a mug. And then I just draw something like this. I need some thickness, so this mug needs some thickness here, so it's not going to be like there's like a, you know, I need some thickness here, so it's not going to be like this. Like, it's not going to look like this one. So you realize that if you erase the line, draw a circle in the inside, it feels like the mug have some like thickness now. Oh, the inside, I need some water now, right? And then you just draw some water in it, and voila, you got a mug. You don't really have to do too much thing. I know this is like not the best one. You can just draw something like this. See, you got a mug. The impression of the item is something that really important to do. It's like when you draw you think about it, you draw a window. But first thing you know about a window is square, and then you draw a square. Maybe you want to draw like a windows that is like those kind of like cartoon window you can open on the side. It looks like a cabinet now for some reason, but still, yeah. Yeah, now you have a window. And then you think about what makes sense that have a window. Oh, a curtains. So you draw a curtain. See? This is what we call a impression drawing. The more you think about some item, you keep adding into it, you will make it look more and more nicer, just from the sheer understanding of an impression of the item that you're trying to draw. The more impression you have on the thing, the more you can kind of like add stuff into it. And this is the crucial part about like core drawing based on impressions. And then you say like outside, okay, there's a tree out there. You want this thing to have like a metal bar. I put a metal bar in here. And then there's a tree out there. And then since there's a tree out there, I decided to maybe add a swing on here. And then you know like your neighbor's house is over here. Maybe like this is a suburban area. You add a window for your neighbor's window. And then at a distance, you draw like a line here. Now you see a distance. There's like a city there. You can't really see a lot of city. If you've seen any before, like it's basically something like this. And then you'll be like, oh, now I think like outside is done. I need to add some interior. And then you just interior, maybe you can add a table here. Maybe this is your room, and then you have a table, and then this is your like work table. You have homework on top of it. Draw a book, and the impression of book is something like this. And then you finish a book randomly, scribble something on it. Have a pencil here. Like more impression of things you draw. Like you can see, this is slowly looking like a complete art. Even though I didn't really try my best to draw, you can already take a look at it. An impression of a drawing is very important. And then you think about it. Can I add something ridiculous? Can. Add a Godzilla here. You can do whatever you want. Just have the impression of the item in your brain is correct when you finish drawing it. You did a good job. All you have to do is to refine of the impression you have on the object. It's like this thing. Right now, the curtain. The curtain is going to have some fold, because in my impression of the curtain, they should have some fold. And then you add some fold. And then I don't want to just have a pencil. This pencil doesn't look nice. I want a mechanical pencil. So I draw a mechanical pencil. And then if I have a pencil, I should have a pencil case. And then you draw a pencil case here. Stuff like that. You just keep adding stuff. How a person learn drawing, how a person improve drawing is you keep trying. You have an impression of something, try to draw it. It's going to look ugly, but you keep doing it, keep adding more and more stuff into it, you will learn more and more things. And the art that you finish might sometimes look shitty, but be proud of your shitty art because you look into it, you will learn how to draw more because you tried, you failed, and then you can look at the failed art you made and see what you failed, what you did, and it didn't work. And then you can try to improve that or find another way to do it. That is always a core philosophy of drawing. You can use a lot of like technique to draw a person's, but for me, I always draw something like this. This is what you call a paper style. You can see a person body is a paper, like very paper-like style. If I draw a body like this, they have a shoulder here, right? And then the shoulder, try to think like they have a paper for bodies. Okay? Have a paper for bodies, and then all you need to do is once you got used to this paper body, all you need to do is learn to add a curve here. No, you can add a curve here or add a curve here, depends on how you want to do, and then add a curve here. Always have a zigzag line. Zigzag line is always important. Why? It's because I can do something like this. And then I can draw a leg like this. And with this, you will slowly understand how to draw a human body in a more proper way. Obviously, the shoulder is a little bit too big, but still. This is a good example. And the other way I do drawing is just simply do something like this. This is what I call a impression of a human body, okay? You don't really have to draw a very accurate human body. Don't need to be like very fixed shape. There's no rule when it comes to drawing body. Our body can bend in some very weird way. If you always think it's a little bit rigid, it's going to like not help you that much sometimes. So think about this. I draw a head and then draw bodies. And bodies always have like a chest, a rib, a spine, a waist. So you can, if you want it easy, 3 circle. And then you can have a leg, another circle. Then, see? Now I have a running post. How to draw a human body, actually, it always comes to a point that you have to know a lot of like very basic stuff. The most basic stuff you really need to learn is find some times, grab a paper, draw this. You need to learn how to draw this first. Why? Because your brain can think image. But everything we see, we think, we actually understand the item and shape in a very flat 2D shape. Our brain actually do not understand how to draw 3D. So, you need to sometimes, using your free times actually, to draw cube. Why draw cube? Is to let your brain learn how to think like a 3D. If you don't think 3D, having the ability to draw and shading is going to be very hard. So you have to do some shading on this. Yeah, do some shading in each of the side that you just draw. And the more you draw, the more you understand how the 3D works. Why would I say this? Because you do not just draw a shape like this. You also have to draw it in a different angle. Okay, now I draw like a diamond startup. How should I do it? So I draw a box here. Maybe, oh, it's just in an angle. So it become like this. And then I can draw. Like the more you keep drawing, the more you will understand the shape of things. You keep drawing, and you will understand a lot more direction. You can draw the cross first if you don't know where to like go. Okay? See? Draw a cross first, it will help you even more. And then you will understand how to correct the line. See? I draw the cross and then I notice some line is wrong. So I draw the line again. This way will teach you to draw a lot more accurate kind of like 3D shape. The more you draw this, the more your brain will aware how to draw 3D shape. More your brain will aware how to draw a 3D shape, the more easier you'll be able to draw anything. So when you draw faces right now, the shape actually does help you when you draw enough cube. Because you draw a cube, remember that what kind of direction I draw. So see, now the cube, I draw a very long rectangle cube. And if I add a face, eye here, and then nose here, smiley face here, and then add this. Obviously, my face won't be coming like this, right? Because it needs a 3D shape. So you will draw a line and then hook it up into here, your ears, and then now you got a head. See? Because you draw enough cube, your brain will start thinking 3D. You know how to draw something inside that cube. Because you have like those kind of like 3-dimension awareness when you draw. When you don't have that kind of awareness, you would have harder time to draw. Which is really hard to help you. Sometimes even I explain to you how it works, like or shortcut or tips how to draw, you might forget the next day because you don't really understand the core, like the core reason how you understand the thing. Because all you can do is just copy what I do. What you need to do is to train your brain to be able to think like a 3D image. So you need a lot of, for one, exercise. You notice when I draw, actually my entire shoulder moves when I draw, okay? I change my sitting position. You see the shoulders. I draw a circle. See my entire arm moving? See this? Shifting. My entire arm shifting. I'm not trying to do something like this. You can see my arm is not shifting. I do all this. This is when I'm not moving my arm when I draw. So the circle I draw is only at this range. You try to just use your wrist to draw a circle. This is your drawing range when you're not moving your arm. When I'm moving my arm, this is my drawing range. It's even bigger than the circle I use. I can draw more. I can go away further. I can draw this direction, this direction, this direction, this direction, this direction, this direction, any direction I want. So the second basic thing you need to learn aside from like 3D awareness, you need to learn how to use your arm. And that's a good practice exercise for you to do this. Learn how to move from point A, have a very big papers, to point A to point B. And then point A to point B. Point A to point B. Obviously, my canvas is much more small, so it's much more different. So you keep doing point A, point B, point A, point B, point A, point B. And then you need to learn to shift your arm. Like have a dot in here. Shift your arm here, here, just go any direction you want. Go to that dot, go there, come back. First time you do it, your line won't be as straight as like mine. You're going to need a lot of practice to have a decent straight line. Okay? And then if you want, you can go for other directions too. This main exercise is to let you learn how to do a back and forth line, straight line. Let you learn how to control your arm in any and every direction. So all you need to do in the exercise is just go dot. And then you draw 1 line, 2 line, 3 line, 4 line, 5, 6, 7, any directions. Long as every single time the line you draw crosses this black dot that you just draw. Okay? You don't have to be super accurate, but try to be as accurate as possible. You don't get penalty if you missed. Just keep on drawing until your arm are tired. That will be your first exercise on how to learn how to draw. And the second way to learn how to drawing is your stamina. That is like when you learn all this thing, when you have like a certain like movement, you grasp your hand, you learn how to use your hand to move properly, then you have to train the stamina of your arm. The stamina of your arm is actually very important. So what you need to do is keep making a circle. Yeah, just that. Don't touch the dot. Just keep shifting your entire arm. Draw a very big circle. This way to train the muscle in your arm. It's going to be very sore, to be honest. If anyone are not actually like used to drawing like this, when you finish drawing, your arm will be very, very, very tired. I'm not even kidding. You will feel like your arm is snapping apart. But it's a very important training for you to train your ability to draw with a decent stamina while moving the entire arm, because it's going to be very tired. And then, once you've got enough endurance, this is more like each week. You have to train each thing I just taught you, like each thing you have to do for a week. The cube, and then like the line drawing, and then the circle. Each thing you have to do for a week for you to get enough muscle power for this kind of things. And then you obviously you can take a break like in between, like a few days and stuff like that. It's fine for doing that because you need time for your muscle to heal. And then you have to do something. It's like overshape. Why I say overshape? Because this is the second level of like the circle training. The second level of circle training is for you to have the ability to adjust your hand to be able to draw any line continuously without cutting. So you can see I can keep drawing while I keep spinning this oval shape. Golden rule of this thing is do not touch the dot, okay? You can do whatever you want, but draw however you want. Just keep the shape that you are drawing consistent. You can even do the triangle one. Triangle, 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 triangle. Because I rarely do the triangle, so it's much more harder for me. So you can see like there's a few lines almost touch the black dot. This is a very important like for learning how to do draw properly. This is a very good exercise for you to learn how to use your hand first. Because sometimes without learning how to use your hand, without having the ability to think like a 3D, your brain like don't understand 3D, you will have a very hard time learn drawing. Because no matter how much internet you look at it, how much people teach you, you might have a slightly hard time understand how to draw properly. You will never have a concept of knowing a cylinder like this exists because I have a line here. I imagine like behind it have another hidden line there. This is a very important thing because once you get the 3D in your brain, you don't have to do this line to know there's a line behind. Get it? Once you get enough like 3D understanding, it will help you a lot. And welcome to Kirivaku TED Talk. This is the most basic stuff I can teach you guys. Okay, I have to do my own things, also let my YouTube video play. You'll have a fine rest to process what I just talked about. You might need some time to ready up to understand why is it so important. It might take a few days too.
This is so funny. We gotta put them all together. It's so much funnier that way. Metal's pretty inoffensive, I would say. He's just British. We'll put him in B. B for British. That's really the only thing wrong with him. Cha-Cha? The only time I've interacted with Cha-Cha was when she was my mommy. Cha-Cha is an easy E. No, that makes sense. The pregnancy toggle puts her in E. I can't. Doobie Doobie? Easy. He's baby. Put her in A. Hina? Yeah. I've learned a lot after becoming Hina's friend. Maybe I will put Fifi down here. Maybe I'll put Shia down here too. Actually, I like this lineup. It makes more sense. What if I made another tier that's lower than G and then I put Numi there? Yeah. Needs to be lost media. There we go. What about Nyana? FBI watch list? Oh, 100%. She's killed many people. Would kill a Victorian. Actually, C. Okay, we'll put her there. Lily? Put Lily in H. Wait, that'd be so funny. Only Numi and only Lily in H. Mel? E? F? I would say E. E makes a lot of sense. What about Miss Luna? Miss Luna is an angel. The only thing wrong with her is that she wants to drink mayonnaise. Minto? Freak Phantome? A. Angel from above. Where would Mouse rank? She baby and go to A. I love how literal Satan is in A tier, and then it's these bozos at the bottom. Showing Satan to church. B seems fair. B is good. What about Yuzu? Well, she's definitely not going to heaven. She's definitely not seeing the pearly gates. Yuzu is G, honestly. Yeah. Aw, frick you dudes. Okay, fine. I'll put her in G, just because you guys want the bottom to be us. Is this Lucy Goosey? Is this my Lucy Goosey? I love her so much. I'm gonna put her in FBI watch list. No, I think I'm gonna put her in D. She would kill a small Victorian child. But then there was that one clip where she's like, oh, Chatty. And then she starts bouncing up and down, and it sounds like she's just on a really crazy roller coaster. Over and over and over and over. And okay, so maybe we put her in F again. No, actually, that makes sense. What about Miss Rain? She talks about her pooping habits more than I Spike. I think I gotta put her in G. We gotta put her in G for that. What about Annie? Where do we put it? Where do we put Annie? She sent me art of her with an extra appendage. And I was like, why are you packing? Okay, F. What about Nags? I would put Nags in B, 100%. Nags is so inoffensive. He's just from Boston. See, for all the yelling? I feel like these bozos all yell. I thought Nags is from Boston. He's got the accent. And now I'm confused. What about Miss Bonnie Barkswell? Oh, she's not that bad. Come on. Bonnie literally had a stream titled, "This Dog Girl Wants to Give Her 1,000." Okay. All right, you've convinced me. Let's put her in E. What about Mari? Actually, F. Okay. All right. Seems to be unanimous here. What about Kenji? D? Yeah. No, you're right. When he pulls out his fucking, the scuff model, the little doodly ass model. Oh my god. Okay, are you happy now? I put myself at the bottom. Now we need to duke it out. We need to figure out who we can show to a kindergarten class. Enya is a, I believe that too. Do burst, Haruka and Mint. Moose does swear though, that's true. Lime for sure. Ellie for sure. Okay. Raccoon. Okay. Okay, fine. Put Red in S tier. I also agree. Cerber is S tier. Okay, put the angels in the angel tier. Rin is not S. This would show to a kindergarten class, all right? Think carefully. Vito would be good for the kids. Neuro and A is risky. True. Is Geary really that sus? Okay, I guess I'll put Geary in B. Mella's maybe a C. Okay. Mel deserves B at least. I'm getting mixed signals. You're not an H? Well, I put myself here just to fuck with people. Fine. Well, it's a good thing I finished, because this is pretty much the end of the line for me.
Hey, did this video make you chuckle? Maybe puff a little air out of your nostril? Well, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss my new videos. Or else, you don't want to know what happens.
I know, I read it. It matters. The degeneracy of VTuber. Oh, it's me. Oh, today didn't really have lots of things in the internet.
Ugh, so nearby Brad, you thirsty? A little bit. There we go. Let's crack one of these open for you. What? Yeah.
How can you open the other one now?
I don't know. Give me a sec. I've got charging batteries. There we go. Let's talk about Swamp Thing. Oh, so
What are you doing in my swamp?
Swamp Thing is a DC character who basically has the same backstory as Shrek in that he's green, likes onions, and wants people to stay out of his swamp. Hence the name Swamp Thing.
I live in a swamp. I put up signs. I'm a terrifying ogre.
Unimaginably powerful thanks in part to his connection to something simply known as the Green, Swamp Thing can control any and all plant life on Earth, which allows him to, amongst other things, teleport via cigarette. So, do you know about Swamp Thing, or the Green, or anything to do with this? This is some comic bullshit we're about to talk about now.
All I know about Swamp Thing is the name Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing.
I mean, it says something that when you first said, "Shall we do an article about Swamp Thing?" I said, "Wasn't he going to be in the Dark Universe?"
And that's Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's a pretty cool name, it's Swamp Thing. I think there was like that TV show.
What, called Swamp Thing?
Yeah, there was a short-lived Swamp Thing TV show. Because DC's kind of in the position that Marvel was, like in the 80s, where they'll just sell anyone the rights to one of their characters, not realizing that it's probably a bad idea to not have complete control of your own comic property. There's a Swamp Thing TV show. There was like a Birds of Prey TV show that never went anywhere.
These three are the protectors of New Gotham, the Birds of Prey. My name is Alfred Pennyworth, and this is their story.
Fun fact, starred Mark Hamill as the Joker, but he only did the voice, and they got another actor to do the face, and they just blurred it out and put Mark Hamill's voice over him.
Knock. Who's there? Batgirl. Past tense.
The most bizarre idea, and I'm really glad it never went anywhere, is they made like a TV show about Commissioner Gordon without putting Batman in it.
Isn't that just Gotham?
Yeah. I still cannot believe they made that show, and I remember reading a bunch of interviews, before it got released, where the guy said, "Look, Gotham's an interesting city. Batman is not the most interesting thing in Gotham. You can tell stories about the people of Gotham without invoking Batman." The first episode, they invoke Batman.
My name is Bruce Wayne.
There was nothing you could have done to stop what happened. But there is something you can do now. You can be strong. Be strong.
The literal first episode, and when they cock tease Batman for all 4 seasons.
I like how you say invoke Batman, like he's some kind of demon.
Well, it is. It's like, it's the same thing when they make Batman media. They always invoke the Joker. Because I forget which game it is, but there's a Batman game where the Joker's dead. Like the opening cutscene is the Joker's dead body, and they're like, the Joker's definitely dead. He appears 10 minutes in.
One thing we really wanted to respect was the events of Arkham City, so we didn't want to kind of kill Joker at the end and then say, oh, that was a cheap shot, but here he's not really dead, bring him back. He is dead, yes.
Miss me?
Or that Suicide Squad game, where it's it's about the Suicide Squad Batman. Fuck's sake, you've got other characters, DC. Well, speaking of which, Swamp Thing. So you don't know anything about Swamp Thing or the Green?
I mean, by the sounds of it, he's a thing that lives in a swamp that can teleport through plants?
Yes, so Swamp Thing, his powers come from his connection to the Green, which is the term used to describe this nebulous universal constant in the DC.
DC loves to do that. The Speed Force is another one.
Yeah, so they have the green, the blue, the purple, all this stuff, and each one has a connection to a fundamental force of the universe, and the green is connected to plant life.
Not will.
Not will,
because they've already done that with one of their heroes.
No, that's the emotional spectrum. Get it right.
For God's sake.
Should we talk about that? That's real fun as well.
The emotional spectrum.
Yeah, where it's green is the power of willpower, but yellow's the colour of fear. But then you have the emotional spectrum in DC is so funny because they're all supposed to be just as powerful as each other, but then the Green Lanterns always win. It's they have purple, which is love. And and I think it took them a good 10 years before they had the balls to actually put characters in who were gay. Even though the universal force of love should be just
everyone.
Yeah,
everyone can love. Everyone should be able to love who they want.
Yeah. And they never and they always just go back to the Green Lanterns, even though all the other Lantern Corps are way more interesting.
I just never understood how they can be the weakness of the Green Lanterns is the colour yellow. How? Does that mean if you just wear yellow, then you win the fight?
In the early comics, yes.
Well, they've changed that then.
Yeah, it was also they were scared of wood. Wood wouldn't work.
Scared of wood?
They couldn't manipulate wood with their constructs.
Wait, so that means that the Green, who is all plant-based, but then there's also Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
So would the Green be able to beat the Green Lanterns?
Yeah. But also shut up. Which is why I think as well, we always talk about DC and we make fun of it a little bit. So this is why. Because their universe just doesn't feel as consistent as the Marvel universe, which is no better showcase for the fact they keep fucking rebooting it.
I mean, I am going to play devil's advocate here and say that I imagine there's some of this bullshit in the Marvel universe as well.
There is, but they try to keep it a bit more consistent. There's a couple of things the sliding time scale.
They have
really
6 rocks that can destroy the universe.
Yeah. And But DC, to my knowledge at least, seems to play a lot more fast and loose with just introducing concepts unimaginably powerful and control everything, and the Green is one of those. And Swamp Thing has a direct connection to the Green and complete dominion over it. So as a result, theoretically, can control all plant life in the universe, and their power is effectively infinite so long as plant life continues to exist.
Does it have to be carbon-based plant life?
Nope.
So what defines a plant?
Just...
Can you control mushrooms?
Yeah.
But they're not... They're
Shut up! Brad, shut up.
Every time we do one of these on comics, I'm always trying to pick it apart because I want things to make sense, and it just doesn't.
And that's the thing is like, what is a plant? And like, there probably is a technical definition someone's going to quote to us. But
what about poison ivy?
Yeah, you can control that.
As in the person?
Oh yeah, poison ivy really likes Swamp Thing.
Your crimes will not stand.
Kisses only, please.
I also have fists.
Oh yeah, in a lot of comics they actually do get on because their goals, do have a lot of crossover of Swamp Thing wants to protect the green, aka all plant life, and Poison Ivy wants to kill all the men because the men are the ones who pollute the plant life, so they do get on.
Didn't we stop being friends because I wanted to destroy humanity?
Sure, that wasn't the best, but it was mostly that you were a shitty friend.
I think in a couple of comics they either get it on or collaborate on stuff before Poison Ivy starts getting a big lesbian on with Harley Quinn, yeah.
I would listen to you for hours complaining about humans being the worst and how you didn't understand the appeal of those bougie Lacoste polos.
I'm done. Fucking comics.
The green. So you like the green? Do you know the best bit about it as well is the green is such a nebulous concept with alien shit. But just for my own amusement, I just like the fact that Swamp Thing can control cactuses. That's terrifying. Imagine you're just sat in your house and just a cactus starts fucking swinging on you.
We got a Cagnia!
Now what do you do? That's the thing, imagine you throw some rubbish out your window and you're like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna litter, then a cactus comes for you.
There's some big cactuses out there. You could turn them into people they could walk.
Yeah. Complete dominion and control over all plant life, or all that poison shit that kills people.
So does the plant life have to be alive?
Yes.
Okay.
Or at least has to be organic, or still has some physical form left.
Because food in your kitchen might be plant life that's not alive anymore, a lettuce.
Yeah, Swamp Thing's about that. You've got a lettuce in your kitchen, Swamp Thing could have that lettuce and beat you to death with it.
You're making a sandwich and it just comes to life like Fantasia.
Yeah, that can happen.
What about I want to ask more questions.
Yeah.
I don't I know the actual answer is whatever the comic book writer wants it to do at the time. But looking around this room now, that's made of wood. Could he control the wood?
Yeah, the wood exists.
So they just beat you to death with the floorboards.
Yeah, and keep in mind as well that Swamp Thing's physical form is just reconstituted plant matter.
I mean, that's what we all are, really.
Yeah, and you could destroy that, but he'd be able to make a new body. Because he can just telekinetically, jump his consciousness into any nearby plant matter. And when I say nearby, that's a relative term, because as long as it exists somewhere in the universe, Swamp Thing can jump his consciousness into it. So he can travel across the universe instantaneously by just jumping into an alien cactus. Fuck you. And before you ask, the answer is, shut up.
Carl can see the cogs turn of me this doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
I just want to ask more questions, and I know there's going to be people we want to hear about the cigarette, Brad. Stop asking questions.
You claim to serve the green.
The plants are my babies.
So why treat them as slaves?
So Swamp Thing, is he a hero?
We did it! We did it! We did it! Yay! Always team up! We did it!
Villains.
I also want to point out that all plants are green.
Yeah. Shut up. Shut up. But especially not green universe, in alien biomes and stuff like that, but shut up, it's called the green, whatever. But no, he's generally doesn't interact with much of the mainstream DC continuity unless they happen to, come into his swamp, which he doesn't like, or threaten plant life. Which seems a bit like a weird thing that he gives such a huge shit about Earth. Given that all plant life in the galaxy is supposedly the universe, I should say, is supposedly under his control and protection.
What constitutes threatening plant life? What if you cut down a tree?
Well, fuck you. The green's gonna get you.
Perhaps his actions are a kind of justice. For who destroys more of the green than your kind?
What if you pull a leaf off a plant?
Well, that's the green. If he sees it, it'll get you. It's the same thing.
Well, he certainly sees it. sees everything in the universe at once.
Yeah, all the plants.
And he can just teleport to you immediately.
Well, that's the thing as well.
I'm never pulling a carrot out of the ground again.
That's the thing that all plants are snitches. It's DC canon that all plants inherently just know how to snitch.
Faust lives in an observatory which is invisible. It's a place where dark magic would infect the earth below it.
I will take you there, so you are no longer here.
This is too powerful.
It is too powerful, yeah.
Rein the characters in. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's why he doesn't really interact with many of DC's mainstream continuity, because if he did, he'd win. Because you can't beat him, because to beat him would mean killing all plant life on Earth. But even then, he could probably just, like, you know, make a planet overgrow and just fly that into the Earth anyway.
But just know that this thing here will be the death of your precious screen.
The green will not die!
So he's meant to be like a manifestation or a consciousness that exists in plants or biological matter of that nature. And regardless of how much of it you destroy, unless you get rid of every cell of it, he can move his consciousness into that.
Basically, yeah, it's like basically Cell from Dragon Ball. Like, you need to destroy like every atom of like whatever body is currently, like, you know, inside. And even then, if there's any plant matter nearby, and plant matter is a very broad term, as we're about to discuss, he'll just jump into that and then, like, you know, just make it turn into a giant body. And he can grow like 300-400 feet tall if he wants. He can be, like, you know, as small as a grain of sand.
Is he a human? Like,
he was a guy, yeah.
Right.
Initially, he was a guy. And
so
then
he's Dr. Manhattan for plants.
Yeah. So he was a guy, and then he became Swamp Thing.
But I'm guessing in the comic lore, he's always been Swamp Thing. From the moment life existed.
Well, there's always been a Swamp Thing, yeah. There's always, like, you know, an avatar for the green. And that's the thing, the fact it's called the green is so lame. But no, yeah. As long as plant life exists, he will be there, but he doesn't really interact. Like, Batman doesn't really interact with Swamp Thing on the reg, which he probably should do.
A TV show, and then he'd turn up.
Yeah, which he probably should, given how much he pollutes the environment. Like, I bet, like, Wayne Industries is polluting like a motherfucker everywhere.
Gotham needs to rebuild.
Not at the expense of the soil.
Here we go again.
Every time your Batman has a sandwich, he's got to watch out.
Yeah, just his lettuce come to life and punch him in the eyes.
His tomatoes just slice through him like blades.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing as well, yeah, Swamp Thing's like, his physical form can just be whatever plant matter is nearby. Which is, like, normally it's just trees. That's a cool visual. Or moss. Or swamp. It's called Swamp Thing. It's like, you know, swampy, mossy water things. Like, you've seen, like, Avatar, The Last Airbender. We have, like, the waterbenders who live in the swamp. You can't like that a lot of the time. But sometimes you can, like, be a tree man, or you can be a leaf man, or you can be a cigarette man.
So what's the deal with the... Obviously, cigarettes have dried leaves inside.
Yes, tobacco.
Right.
Which Swamp Thing can use to create himself a body, as the character Constantine learned when he was trying to dodge Swamp Thing in one comic book. Because, like, they had, like, a crossover, and, like, Constantine's like, no, fuck, I don't want to talk to Swamp Thing. He's so lame. I just want to leave. I don't want to talk to Swamp Thing.
I only know John Constantine because he enrages me.
And he's in his office, he's rolling a cigarette, and Swamp Thing's like, no, fuck you, talk to me. And just takes over the tobacco in his cigarette and uses that to create a form, so he just becomes, like, weed Swamp Thing. He looks so fucking... so lame. He just becomes, like, 420 Swamp Thing.
So he can turn into any biological matter that used to be a plant?
Yes.
Because obviously the tobacco leaves are dead and dried.
Yeah.
So he could become, like I was saying, the floorboards. He could become that.
Yeah.
Anything in here that's made from a plant, like fibres in clothes might be made from plants.
Yeah.
No!
That sounds scary, doesn't it? But no, that's the thing though, like, because Constantine doesn't expect it, where it's just he's smoking his cigarette, or he's about to, and just his cigarette comes to life. And that's the thing, like, he's only like a little bit of tobacco in that cigarette, but then it just forms the giant, like, 8-foot tall Swamp Thing, and he starts giving him the business of, like, you fucking listen to me, you stop polluting the earth, you bastard!
But to people who smoke weed, like, they're burning plants.
There's the thing as well, and imagine how fucking much you would trip balls if you, like, spark up a joint and Swamp Thing emerges from, like, the joint and starts giving you, like, you know, some guff for destroying plants. Like, what did you, like, are you stoned? A little bit, yeah. What have you ordered? A pizza? What's on that pizza? It's vegetarian.
Swamp Thing advocate for meat eating only.
Well, I can only think that's the only reason why he's not in more comics, because he's just one of those things of it comes across as a bit preachy to have a character who's like, stop polluting, you bastards. And it's really hard to sell that when you've got Poison Ivy right there. And I feel like Poison Ivy is just easier on the eyes package for that message of just hot lady.
I wouldn't get too comfortable if I were you.
Shit.
But couldn't Swamp Thing look like Hot Lady?
He could if he wanted to. He just wants to look like a fucking tree man. He doesn't look like an ant.
Wait, does he have like a specific form that he does take regularly then?
Just the massive like leaves and swamp shit. So that's the thing as well, Swamp Thing will stink. He will smell like poo all the time.
Or tobacco.
Or tobacco, yeah. That's the
in Constantine's situation.
Oh man, what would be the nicest thing for him to like, constitute his body out of? Like
flowers.
Next, I'm thinking like sandalwood. Do you like the wood they use to make saunas?
Yeah.
Do you like that? It's a really nice, like musty smell. Musty's probably not the right word. Like,
I know what you mean. Like,
but the smell of a sauna. Imagine if you just walked around and smelled like a sauna.
Or like smoking chips that you would use in like a barbecue.
Oh yeah, because that's the thing is like, my mum and dad used to smoke, and like tobacco doesn't smell that bad. It only smells bad when it's like lit. Like actual tobacco in itself is all right smell. They put it in a lot of like men's aftershave and stuff, so I can't imagine that smell too bad unless he catches it on fire.
Yeah.
Which would be awful.
But also, like, surely he has to. It's the amount of mass of the tobacco. Because you just say he grew into a big.
Yeah. I'll find the picture. It's really funny.
But how can he do that when there's only a certain amount of mass in a tobacco?
How about you shut up? How about that?
That can't be the answer to everything. They can't make him a character.
Look, he's just Weed Man.
That is fucking horrifying.
Yeah, he's just Weed Man.
He looks like one of Hellraiser's children.
Yeah, he's just
Holy
Weed Man.
Shit.
And he starts giving him like guff for it, like, are you really like, being casual at a time like this? There's an entire species at stake, and he's like.
Did you know the Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Explaining Warhammer to My Girlfriend. I am your host Ava, and joining me as always is my lovely significant other, Carrie.
Hello!
Before we get started, we want to give a huge shout out to all of our friends and patrons who helped with the intro. That was really, really fun to put together. And we have a huge announcement. We have merch. We've partnered up with Bricky over at Orchidate.com to bring you some great, super comfortable hoodies, t-shirts, and oh, is that a swarm of nurglings on your sweatpants? Or are you just happy to see me? Also, there is currently a Black Friday sale. Any order over $100 is 15% off. You can check out all these designs and more over at Orchidate.com. Link in the description. And if you'd like to support the show, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/numbskulls, where you can get all sorts of rewards like a private Discord, bloopers, early episodes, voting on episode topics, and much more. That's patreon.com/numbskulls.
So we're gonna learn about gods today.
No, we're not learning about gods.
Aww.
That's next episode. We're gonna wrap up our chaos thing next episode with Zinch.
Oh,
we're probably not gonna talk about Malal because he's like a weird fifth chaos god. He's not canon, but also canon, and also the reason why he's not canon is because of a licensing issue. But that's a whole other topic. Today we're having fun. Today we're gonna be talking about orcs.
I love fun. Oh.
So, what do you know about orcs, my love?
Mushrooms.
Right.
They are not mammals.
They're not mammals.
They are not mammals.
Right. That is true. Do you know like their overall vibe at all?
Men.
Well, mushrooms.
Mushroom men.
Mushroom men.
Is Peach their ruler?
No.
Oh.
Well, they don't. They don't really have like a ruler per se.
Oh. Do they have any kind of societal structure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they do. So orcs are the comedic relief of the setting.
Right.
They're goofy, they're fun, they're weird. You don't really take them too seriously unless you're like fighting them.
I've heard they're British too.
They're Cockney British.
Okay, but my mom's from London town. Am I an orc? Meat's back on the menu, boys.
That was scarily accurate
I'm a voice
to how
actress.
orcs kind of sound.
Give me a body type. I got ya.
Big, muscly, stunted.
Why did that sound like Gandalf?
Think of orcs as we talk about them to be sort of like kids that don't have adult supervision.
Okay, I'm into that.
So, as you said, they are mushrooms. They're kind of all throughout the universe, and they are by far like the largest alien population. Maybe Tyranids are more, but when they come to a planet and they infest it with spores, because, you know, mushrooms, it's very hard for them to be taken care of and gotten rid of.
Right. So they take up mushroom.
They take up mushroom. It's true. When you read like a Warhammer story or you experience like a game or something, more often than not, orcs are at least going to make an appearance. They are absolutely everywhere. You cannot get away from these guys. And a lot of people don't want to get away from them because they're so fun and goofy and weird.
So if you run into one of these guys, he's probably a fun guy.
Maybe not to you. He'll probably try to eat you.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, this is still Warhammer, right?
Is it because I'm loud?
No. It's just because he wants to just fight you.
Oh.
The way orcs work is that they only care about one thing, and that's fighting. They just want to be fighting all the time. Or as they say, crumpin.
Crumpin.
They want to be crumpin
Not
all
crumpet.
the time. Not crumpet, crumpin.
Okay.
They get together and they're like, all right, lads, let's go crumpin. And then they go crump.
It's like going out for a rip.
No, it's like it's like going out to like fight and loot places.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Would you liken it to going out for a rip?
Is that a mushroom?
Lichen is a type of fungal.
The fungus. Oh, I see. So you asked about their society. They're actually like pretty unorganized, other than when they get together to fight. And even when they're fighting, they're very unorganized. But the way that they
like a guerrilla warfare kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of. But they're more like disorganized societally because their entire thing is follow the leader. And who's the leader? It's the biggest orc.
It's that guy. But then you can't see him from where you are. So for you, it's that guy. So they're sporadic.
I see your jokes this episode. I can understand.
I can't help it.
No, you're adorable. I love you. So orcs believe that bigger is better, and that is true because let's talk about their origins really
quick. They need to be strong enough.
Is that also a mushroom thing?
It's a dish you might make with mushrooms.
I see.
I'm gonna cremini as many of these in here as I can while we go, but I'll let. I want to hear about their origins. Please tell me.
I'm gonna be groaning silently.
No, don't groan. I'm so fun! Yay! Everything's gonna be enoki doki.
For our viewers, don't worry. I'm face palming for you.
If you're not mold enough to get all the jokes, it's okay.
Oh my god.
I'm just trying to boost morale. Morale?
I see.
Okay, I'll stop.
So orcs were actually around with the Necrons and the Eldari back in the War in Heaven when the Catan and the Old Ones were fighting.
Jax Taylor, right? Is that right?
The Catan, the Catan we have deemed as the Jax Taylors, the Deceiver, and so on and so forth. So orcs were made as Krorks. They weren't orcs. They were Krorks.
Krorks and orcs.
They were these genetically modified, kind of a rush job to make them into these weapons, these super powerful guys that are really smart, really tactically advanced.
Okay.
And so they were basically like Dothraki, where when they show up, it's a big deal.
Right.
And it's a problem for anyone that they're fighting.
It's an overwhelm situation.
Yeah. Right. And because they are mushrooms, the idea was these really powerful warriors are never going to stop coming. So eventually, just based on numbers, they're gonna win.
Yeah. You gotta fumigate the whole house.
Yeah.
Or they're coming
or a planet.
And they're still coming back.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously we know how the War in Heaven ended. The Old Ones died. They're gone.
Yeah.
The Catan were imprisoned, enslaved.
Guys, I can tell you all
Necrons went
about
to sleep.
I know all of this now.
Eldari would take over the galaxy.
For a little bit.
Until they...
Till the whole, destroying the angel thing.
Accidentally summoning a god. Oopsie.
My bad. Death cap.
Orcs, unfortunately, had a problem. They started to degrade over time. They became much smaller, much dumber, and overall less what they once were.
You said that they were made.
Yeah, they were like a race that the old ones, like the Eldari, they were a race, and the old ones came by and they genetically modified them to be whatever they wanted. In this situation, they needed foot soldiers, and so they made foot soldiers.
Okay, I understand. So they came to some planet, and there was some cute little guys running around.
There were some cute little fungus boys.
And they were like, I bet we could multiply, y'all.
It's interesting because Krorks were like these giant, we don't know a whole lot about them, but they were essentially these giant warriors that were really strong and they were really smart. What's interesting about orcs is as they fight, they get bigger. And as they get bigger, they get smarter. So the idea is that they're sort of, as they fight, they are becoming more like Krorks.
So as you use them, they grow on you.
Essentially, yeah. But your average orc, pretty stupid. They're going to follow the biggest orc around.
Right.
They care about one thing and one thing only, and that's crumpin'. And they're going to crump. They love the crumpin'.
Crumpin' time, boys.
Now, interestingly, orcs actually are religious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
They believe in two gods.
Okay, cool. We love dual theism.
The gods that they believe in, they're called Gork. And Mork. Gork is described as brutal but cunning, but Mork is described as cunning but brutal.
Specifically without the G?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So the idea is that Gork is like punch you in the face, Mork is like punch you in the back.
Okay, which one is which?
So about that.
Okay, what do you mean about that? Because I want to know, because whichever one's going to punch me in the back,
So the funny thing about Gork and Mork is that often in books, even orcs, like characters and other orcs will see orc iconography, and often you'll see a symbol of Gork or Mork, and characters get confused. So they'll see like an icon and they're like,
to this.
Well, they see an icon and it's like, that's an altar to Mork. Or maybe Gork.
This is me when I look at B's and D's. I don't know which one is which. Why do they look the same? What do you mean that's not a bog? Why?
They're so similar that even orcs get confused onto which god they're actually like.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It sounds like being not entirely accurate and or sure about which god you're actually working with at the moment might be a theme that comes up multiple times in Warhammer.
Yeah, actually. We've talked about that with specifically Slanesh. Like there have been a lot of things. Like the idea of the Chaos Gods is that a lot of it is slow and like tempting, especially with Slanesh.
Yeah, you go in the deadly webcap.
Yeah.
Webway.
The webway.
Webcap. Go see my babe. Give me a shroom with a view, honey.
So orcs are big and strong.
Yeah.
But that's not what makes them dangerous.
Yeah. Okay.
It's how they function. Orcs have this weird thing where whatever orcs believe becomes reality.
They manifest.
Yes.
They read that book, what is that book? The Secret? The Secret. That's it. With
The Secret.
The Secret. Did you ever read The Secret?
I never read The Secret.
Oh, okay. It's one of those books that like all of our boomer parents read, and it's like supposed to like teach you how to like, you know, do your life however you want to do it. But it's like it all comes down to like think about the things you want a lot.
Think about the secret.
Like make yourself like a mood board. And like to a point, yeah, that totally like makes sense. Like you want to, in order to push towards something yourself, you have to kind of interact with it in a way. You have to engage with it, but it's not the secret.
It's not the secret.
There is no secret. Work hard.
So to illustrate how this sort of belief thing works, I have a quote from a Necron book from The Infinite and the Divine to sort of illustrate how even to a race such as the Necrons, who have pretty much mastered science and technology and so on, they are confused by the orcs.
Trazin, our ships are without atmosphere, unpressurized,
Orican said.
Do orcs breathe?
A pause. They have lungs.
That's not what I asked.
John, our actually guy, has left a note here saying, disclaimer, orcs can't breathe in space, but the answer to this is that they probably thought the Necron ship was pressurized. So the orcs probably thought the ship had air, therefore it wasn't a problem.
So the orcs are fine. As long as they don't know what's going on, they're fine.
As long as they don't understand what's happening, they are A-okay. They're having fun. Which is interesting because this is only because they're not very smart.
Right.
So a smarter orc would probably have a problem in a situation like this because they would understand like, the ship's not pressurized, there's no oxygen. I need to plan around that. So it's interesting how like as they get smarter, it kind of becomes more of a problem. Orcs are fascinating when you start talking about
how
like the intricacies.
This happens, like, okay, they have a cognition, like, I can breathe here, or they simply don't have the cognition that they wouldn't be able to. And thus, it either affects their biology in so much that they are able to maintain homeostasis, or it affects the world around them.
So it seems to be the idea of it just works.
Okay,
and it works
fair
for
enough.
them. And to explain that, orc guns and vehicles and stuff,
Right.
they work, and like orcs make them, and like they work.
Right.
But the problem is a human will pick up an orc gun and go, this shouldn't shoot. This shouldn't be possible.
But does it?
But it works.
So, okay, so like let's say there's a human and an orc in I don't know, like a space vessel. Like a let's say they pop out.
They're on a ship.
They're on a ship. They're on a little ship together. They're like vibing in the, putting on their tracks. Somehow the human passes out or something. I don't know. They fall asleep. They aren't thinking anymore. So whatever they know is irrelevant to the situation, but they are alive and breathing in this environment with this orc. Suddenly the spaceship springs a leak. All the air goes out. The orc doesn't notice. So
orc would be fine.
Orc would be fine.
He would be fine.
Would the human die?
Yes.
So it doesn't affect the world around them. It affects them.
It works for orcs.
So like if the human picks up that gun and tries to shoot it, it won't shoot. But if the orc does, it'll shoot. If he believes it'll work.
Yes. It's weird, right?
Well, I'm just trying to get the what could you do with this? Because in my mind, like, you get oh my god. We just found out which god I'm gonna fucking follow. Because I was like, you could get like an orc and like gaslight the fuck out of him and become like an infinitely powerful being.
She's changing sides from Slaanesh to Tzeentch already.
I think they just go together, hun.
They do work together quite a bit. Let me put it this way. You know how like ships will have like a big console with like controls and a steering wheel and stuff? Yeah, fuck that.
Bridge.
Orcs have a button that says go.
Oh, just a go button. Make it go.
Yeah, it's just a big red button that says go.
What if you want to stop? What if you're already going? Does it turn into
Why would
stop?
you ever want to stop?
Well, I don't
That
know.
means
Maybe you're
stopping
heading
crumping.
right for a mountain.
Yeah, they would love that.
What about turning?
Listen, as long as an orc is fighting,
Parallel
so let's say
parking. Can they go forward and back, and then forward and back, and then forward and back, and then
There's actually an interesting theory that is probably wrong, but it's really fun to think about. That you know how the tagline is the grimdark future of 40K, there is only
There's
war.
only war. Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea is the only reason why there is only war is because the orcs think that everyone's fighting.
But then that
so
would
the
be...
war never ends.
I guess they're in it.
So I understand. Yeah.
No, I know. I'm picking it apart too literally. It's just funny.
The beauty of orcs is the stupid simplicity of it. How does this work? Shut up.
I don't know.
We're going.
It
It's a
always
go
has.
button.
That's the answer. It always has.
It always has. It's never broken before. So let's talk about the orc factions, because there's actually quite a bit. And we're going to focus mainly on the factions that you can play on tabletop, which it helps that these are the most prevalent orc clans.
Sweet.
And we'll start with the Goths.
The Goths. Oh, I had a Goth phase. We all did.
So these are your classic orcs. They are, from what I could read, they are the largest orc clan. But they're your basic, like, melee-focused clan of orcs. They're real tough. And their color scheme is black and white checkerboards.
Okay. I like the cool skull thing.
Yeah, their logo's really cool.
Fancy.
Next up, we have the Evil Sons. These guys are your vehicle-focused faction. They go fast.
Right.
Do you want to know what their main color is?
Motion blur?
It's not motion blur. It's red, because anything red goes faster.
Oh, go faster for the pasta.
The red ones go faster. So orcs, if you paint something red, guess what? It's going to go faster.
Cool.
This goes into their belief
I
thing.
wish that worked in Final Fantasy. I'd be zooming them in front of all of y'all.
Yeah, you just zoom in front of everybody. They actually have a pretty cool Mad Max vibe. So they have like a lot of like ramshackle junkyard bikes and cars and buggies and all this stuff.
Do they have planes?
They do have planes,
So
but I don't know if...
Do they fly them out of the airport of Bello? Are any of the cars like nice cars, like Porschini?
No, they're all ramshackle junk. It's all junk that shouldn't work.
Are the seats of the cars toadstools?
I don't think they even have seats.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I don't know. We might have
They're just
to...
cremini as many of them in there as they can. I already used that one.
There's actually an orc racing game coming out soon
that's
called
cool.
Speed Freaks.
Oh, that's really fun.
So that'd be really fun to like
Wait,
we
do
could
they
like
have
play that together.
trains?
I don't know if orcs have trains actually. You don't see a
Guys.
lot of trains in
I love trains.
in a lot of Warhammer stuff.
Do with that what you will.
Mm-hmm. Our next faction are the Bad Moons.
Bad Moons.
So their main color is yellow because yellow is the richest color. They are the richest
Oh, okay.
because orc currency, they have currency by the way.
Oh.
Their currency is teeth.
Oh. Teeth is?
Teeth is. Yeah, they have teeth.
Okay,
Teeth as
I
the
have
currency.
teeth. Oh, I'm rich.
So the reason why they're the richest is because Bad Moon orcs, their teeth grow faster than other orc clans.
They're like
So
white
that's
sharks.
why they're
white
the
sharks,
richest.
Regular sharks. Regular sharks. That's cool and also unfair.
Well, I mean, so here's what they do with all their teeth. They buy all the biggest guns.
Ah.
So if you play Bad Moons, you're going with like big Daka. Daka is gun.
Okay. Could they not just buy faster vehicles?
Well, that would be what the Evil Sons would do.
Well,
But Bad Moons are more focused on like big guns. I see what you're saying, but their main color scheme is yellow, so they paint everything yellow to let you know like where the Bad Moons were the best. Because if they painted it red, orcs might get confused and be like, is this an Evil Sons or a Bad Moons vehicle?
Question. Let's say this is like Fast and Furious and they have a race, but it's like a race for their car. Like, you know how they're always betting their cars when they don't have cash and stuff. And so let's say the Bad Moons like beat the fast guys because they pull some like tricksy maneuvers. They
And they
cheat
take,
or
like, their
whatever.
red
And they
car.
take the red car.
So the red
Or
one
they
would
buy
go
it.
faster.
Yeah.
Most likely they would paint it yellow.
And then it would go slower.
It would go slower.
Even if they believed it would be just as fast because they
No.
bought it and they had seen how they know it's going to be slower when they paint it.
Well, they're going to paint it to represent their faction, but it's just a fact that the red ones go faster.
Okay. This is why DMs don't like me.
Because you ask a lot of questions.
Because
You're
I'm
"How does
like,
this
how
work?"
do I find the loophole?
Right, right. Well, unfortunately with orcs, there are no loopholes. There is just solid facts. Red ones go faster, yellow is the richest color,
Okay.
etc., etc.
Right, all right.
So Bad Moons have the biggest Daka. They also have more Gretchen slaves than the other clans.
Gretchen slaves.
So Gretchens are like goblins.
Oh.
They're 40k
I
goblins.
thought it was just some poor lady, just Gretchen over there. Sorry.
Here's a fun fact about Gretchen. They always have better accuracy, like they shoot better than orcs in game.
Okay.
And they're typically smarter than orcs, but they're very fragile. They're like made of glass bones and paper skin.
No, my little guys.
Yeah. They're also, they're known as a lot of things like slaves, workers, emergency food rations, so on and so forth.
Meat's back on the menu, boys.
Yeah. If there's not enough food, they'll just start eating Gretchen.
Well, that's not good. Gretchen.
Yeah. Yeah, poor Gretchens.
Poor Gretchen.
We feel bad for our Gretchen friends. They deserve so much.
You know, not to get eaten.
Yeah.
That's nice.
They deserve to be happy. They're so cute. I love Gretchen so much.
Oh.
He stole all the loot.
Why do you do that?
Well, because he wants it.
Oh.
The other Gretchen's
Who's he
tattling on
talking
him.
to? He's talking to
tattling
an
on
orc.
the orcs. He's talking to the
Isn't the orc gonna take the loot? And then they're not gonna get any loot?
Yeah, probably.
See, these are the kind of loopholes you gotta be watching out for.
Yeah. Our next orc faction are the Blood Axes.
Oh, okay.
Their color is camo because they sneaky for an orc.
Sneaky orcs.
They're the sneaky faction.
I feel like
All right. I should have a pause on this. Yesterday I did do like a more than 12-hour stream. I didn't have that much energy today. I want to spend some time playing some games alone. Charge it a little bit, you know. Get stuff. I got a BB face already done. Will be do the more the like the carving later. So yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching, and as always, guys, stay healthy, stay safe. Until next time, stay tuned on the next stream. Bye bye.